We're on it.
Oh, there it is.
No countdown this
You're
week.
listening to the Beans and Dice podcast.
You got time for that.
A podcast about
Ain't got
how
no
we
time
game.
for that.
No, we don't. No, we don't. Hey, folks, welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about
How we go?
Game.
And it's Thursday night live call-in show night when it's all about how you game. On Thursday nights, we take your phone calls to talk about board games that you've been playing under the geeky goodness. And we got a full show tonight. I'm Carlos.
There's people everywhere. I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
I'm Wayne.
Daniel Bourdain.
Emmy.
Daniel Bourdain.
Trekking the world.
Yeah. Okay. It sounded like you said Bourdain. Was it Bourdain?
Bourdain.
What, Bourdain? Bourdain? Okay.
What's great tonight is we have
There you
two
go. That was right.
Childers in the house tonight.
Where?
We have two Childers in the house. We have Robert Childers, and then we've got little Childers, Emmy Childers in the house, home from college break.
Little Childers. That's how she likes to be referred to. The little
Yeah,
Childers.
I'm sure that went well.
That's her nickname in
It's
college.
Yeah. well,
Officially the shortest
It
one
is
now.
better than saying the big
Closer.
Childers, right? Like you don't want me to call you the biggest of the Childers, right? I'm just saying.
no, Carlos will fix that for
Man,
you.
we are only bringing the best board game content right now.
Yeah, exactly. We're all about the board games. Now, let's talk about the Childerses for a while.
Yes.
Yes.
News.
Tell us how you grew up, Rob.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
you know,
It all
you know what I
started
forgot to
on
do
a farm.
last
What
week?
happened was
I forgot to acknowledge our anniversary of the call-in show.
Oh.
So the call-in show came to you, I think our first episode dropped December 8th, I think it was, of 2020. December 8th of 2020 was the first
Was there
time
some
we
numbers?
did
Was it
a
2020?
live call-in show.
That would have been right before the pandemic.
Yes,
And
that
who-
would have been right before the pandemic.
Who was on that show?
No, right after.
Do you guys remember when the
Right
pandemic
after.
was?
That was right after. No, I
Okay,
don't. That
there-
whole time got
Right
that whole
after.
time
Carlos
disappeared
by
for me. Say again?
You by yourself on the call-in show?
Who was on that show? I
No,
don't
it was
remember.
Robert and I.
Was it the two of us? Okay. Was it nobody else? Just the two of us?
Yeah, it
That
just
point?
started with
Okay.
just the two of us.
Just the
Yeah,
two of us.
Just being schlubs on TV.
you and I.
Let's not sing.
No,
No.
I can keep going. Hey, look, the viewers are dropping.
So
Anyway,
are subscribers.
big surprise. Oh well, subscribers, subscribers.
We earned that. Yes,
you're
yes,
earned
James
all those
Odak, there
thumbs
was a
down.
pandemic.
Oh, be quiet, Odak. You had like every expansion out when you were during the pandemic.
There was a
so-
game about it with a bunch of expansions. Pandemic.
Yeah.
So we
Several
celebrated
seasons of it.
4
Yeah.
years of doing this nonsense on Thursday nights.
High five.
And I think we've
Nailed
only
it.
missed maybe 3 or 4 total
Probably 3, 4 over
out of the 200 episodes that we've done.
Is that how many are up there?
Wait, no,
Year.
160.
I haven't looked.
No, 200. 52 weeks in a year.
So math is not your
Times
thing
four.
either.
Math's not
Okay.
his forte.
So you don't remember the pandemic and you can't multiply. Got it.
English is not his first language.
So we've done about 200 episodes. We need to find out how many we've done because we need to have a big like 200 or something, right?
Which we probably already have.
Probably
had.
already passed. Maybe
Yeah.
250, maybe. Yeah, something.
If only there's a way to like go into the YouTube and look at how many videos there are.
Oh, gosh,
Count them.
if only there was a way.
I'll do it, Wayne, because he
I
won't.
swear this is a board game show.
Yeah, so about board games. Yeah, and good geeky goodness. Yeah.
Well, we're going to be talking about today.
You two for the 4 years though, man. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Isn't
thank
that
you.
crazy?
Thank you. Yeah, time flies.
I got to say, and I was telling Dan this earlier today when we were chatting before we gamed, I don't think I've ever done anything in my life this consistently other than have children.
I was saying, have
Like,
kids.
I was going to call that
gotta
out.
be up
Thank you.
there.
Okay,
We
good.
got
Lies.
5
other than have children, I don't think I've ever dedicated to this much consistency in anything.
Well,
So
I do every Thursday, Wednesday night with Gloomhaven. I do Frosthaven.
it was great.
I gotta
Go
go,
ahead,
back
go ahead,
through.
Wayne.
I gotta go back through and see how long I've actually been on the show because it's got to be over 2 years, right?
It's 2 years.
It
at
has
least,
to be
yeah.
over 2
Yeah.
years because you were here like still pandemic-y times.
right. Interesting.
Is that even a word? Pandemic-y?
It is now.
Jeeves says he's been watching almost since the beginning. Wow.
Yes, he has. I've watched him have like 3 kids in the time that Kyle Jeeves has
You
been
watched him have the kids?
He did. He was there. He witnessed it. He invited them up to come into the emergency room and the delivery
Wow.
room. Yeah.
Several
Thanks, Dan.
dogs. You got like
They traded dogs for board games. That was a great achievement.
I like Pablo's comment there. Pablo 42, a year for me watching, about 4 months just lurking in the shadows before he actually came out and started talking to us. But that happens. We don't mind as long as people are watching, I guess. But we do thrive on the interaction. Otherwise, you get this crap for 2 hours. So you don't want to hear this for 2 hours.
Diego's been watching since the spicy ramen episode. That was
You're welcome.
I remember I watched that one. I remember watching that one.
That was your turn.
Dan made that happen.
Yeah,
Thank you,
your
Dan.
turn. Yeah, that was good. And we've actually had several people ask us to bring that back. That we should make it an
No.
annual thing. Carlos says no.
It's coming back. It's
He was
coming
2
back.
bites in and he was done.
The only thing that'll be coming back is the ramen after we eat it. Like,
Spicy ramen challenge.
and being consistent with this is just not who I am. Like that consistency piece. My kids were in the garage this week getting ornaments out, and they found my old Nintendo NES, like the original NES, in there, and they brought it out. Now they're playing on the TV with it, and I had to explain to them because they're asking me about beating Super Mario Brothers, and I'm like, I have never in my life beat this game.
What?
I've never
Get out.
sat
Just
down.
Put the mic down and get out.
Vacation.
To do it.
No, yeah, I did it several times.
Yeah, in like middle school.
I can't get through all those levels. I lose my attention span and I'm out. I'm switching the cartridge to Duck Hunt.
So you can only focus on having kids and doing this show. That's the only two things.
I did say that. The only 2 things that I've consistently done, well, keep my job. I've kept my job for 20 years.
There you go.
I've made a lot of babies, and I've done the show for 4
Coordinate
years.
Collection. Increase the number on your shelf of shame.
Oh, yeah, that's consistent.
We don't need to list all the
consistent.
achievements
Yeah.
at this point.
No,
Like,
I think Mike is right. Just continue.
Calling them out. Yep.
I feel personally attacked. In today's episode, welcome to the show. I know we're like 5 minutes in. We haven't got anywhere. 6 minutes and 40
That's
seconds
fine
in.
though. We should do that.
On occasion. We are going to talk beans. We're going to give it the beans. And today we're giving the beans on 2nd edition Trekking the World. 2nd edition Trekking the World. I just taught it to Dan and Rob. We just got it played for the first time as a group. So glad to have you all here to talk about Trekking the World 2nd edition. I am a fan of Trekking the World 1st edition. I am an owner of that game. Trekking the World 2nd edition just released 2024. It's an underdog game, and it is designed by, looking at the box. Wow, they don't have the design on
the
like
front?
permanent. Like, there it is. Game by Nick Bentley and Charlie Bink. And then graphics by Alfredo Rodriguez and Nalia Acuna. Manufactured by Underdog Games. This is a exploration game where you're moving around the world, taking tours, and having encounters in different locations throughout the world. While you're doing that, you're collecting your souvenirs in order to gain bonuses that allow you to break some of the rules. You're getting money that allows you to take tours. Tours are how you get the majority of your points, and also how you end the game. Depending on where you stop your movement, you end up picking up souvenir cubes of 4 different colors. As you gain cubes, you slot them into your suitcase. When you get full sets of souvenirs of the 4 colors, you're getting more points. Did I miss anything, Wayne?
Well, that sounded pretty good.
That's Trekking the World base regular retail edition. And in the beans format, we give you the basics, which I just did. We're going to give you enjoyment. We're going to give you aesthetics, negatives, and then summary in the acronym of beans. And I know that for Dan and Rob, you each, I think the 3 of you, Dan, Rob, and Emmy, have all played 1st edition.
Yeah.
Some remember it more than others, and some have played it more recently.
Yes.
This is their first time getting into the 2nd edition. And Wayne, you were 1st edition. You just got your play of 2nd edition this week. Mike,
Yeah,
have you played?
I've played. Sorry. Yeah, I've played both 1st and 2nd. I played 2nd 2 or 3 times now, and I played 1st a whole bunch.
And Mike, any familiarity with Trekking the World?
I'm just going to say, man, every time that I'm on the show and you guys do the beans, it's always a game I have never freaking
Never played. Yeah. So you can sit there quietly. Yeah.
Oh, I'll sit here quietly.
Oh, no.
But you
Chime
can
in.
now you can tell after the beans, you can give you a report of does this make
Yeah.
you want to play it more or less?
This is actually a game I do want to play. And I also want to play the history one as well. So I will be listening. Go ahead.
All right, let's talk enjoyment. We'll start in the house first. If everyone wanted to give a point of enjoyment, so all those that are in studio, we'll start with the lady. Lady, Emmy, any enjoyments in the game that you found?
Uh,
Anything in particular that you liked?
not particularly. Everything was just kind of there. You just did it. There wasn't like anything that stuck out as great about anything. It was just you move, you pick up pieces. That's it.
We could say that for the negatives.
I know, right?
we could, yeah. Well,
If Underdog is watching, that's a Beans and Dice approved. Dano.
I like it more than the first edition.
enough said. A man of many words.
That's my positive.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know that I do. Just to again, not to get into the negatives. I'm trying to think. So, are we looking for something that we enjoy in this particular version more than the first one, or just something we enjoy about the
Yes.
game in general?
This one, the one that we're actually talking about, yes.
Okay, so this over the first edition, or this just in general?
Just this.
So just this. And
Just
it's
this one?
what E for enjoyment.
Yeah.
So a positive that like me. I like this more than the first one.
Okay.
I gotta say, like the childers are worrying me. Like I go, tell me about enjoyment, and she's got none, and then Rob's got qualifiers. Like,
Yes.
well, if we qualify it, I might be able to get 1 point.
Definitely didn't like it as much as the first one, so I'm trying to find something that I can call out that I think people would enjoy more in this one. This one is more thinky. This one is more AP, I think. This one is a lot of open information. There's nothing that's really hidden other than just these cards cycling.
So those are things you've liked?
Sure. I mean, these are things that I think would be better maybe in this version than the first one. So,
All right, he did it. That
Yeah.
was enjoyment.
mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
In my enjoyment, what I enjoyed, what I enjoyed in this game is not deep. It was very shallow today. We are all very shallow, like a
I
kiddie
haven't
pool.
gone yet. No.
That's why I'm going to you last. My enjoyment in this touches on what Rob said, and there is depth here, right? There's depth here if you take the time and don't AP it too much, but if you take the time to really look at how many tokens you have, what itinerary cards are available for movement, and then what encounter/tours are available, you can really combo a good turn. And that feels good when you get it just right. When you use your freaking flyer token to go to an airport, spend some of those move tokens to make that movement hit just right so that you're collecting like $3 and then you're in the exact right city that you needed to be in so you can collect souvenir cubes and then also hit a tour or an encounter. Those moments when you get it right feel good. So much more thinky. It can be much more thinky than first edition, and I like that.
Okay.
Wayne.
So, starting with setup, I enjoy the setup of this game a lot better because in the first edition, you have to seed the board with all the cubes, and it could be kind of how those come out can be a little weird. You get multiple of the same color in one area versus others. So, I like the idea of this one where all the cubes there's no cubes on the board. You're traveling and you're taking the card, and then that lets you get the cubes that you score from. I like the encounters versus tours versus encounters. So like some growth there instead of because in the first edition all you're looking to do is collect the cards to go get that and the tour and that's it. Now you can kind of pick and choose and you can get end game scoring or immediate effects. So I enjoy that added not complexity even because I don't think the games are really that difference between first edition as far as complexity, but I enjoyed the there's not a race to just finish all the tokens in one continent or, leaving one token there or two tokens because you don't want someone else to swoop in and take that last token. So I enjoyed the token collection aspect better. I enjoyed the tours versus encounters, the addition of that little added, you can do one or the other. So there's multiple different kind of more ways to score. And I enjoy the no blocking. Although I do like in the first edition where you can block and try to block someone from getting to a destination. I think that makes the game a little meaner, which I know Rob probably likes. But I like in this edition there's no blocking, so you can kind of travel around. And the ease of they made the airports more effective. I think in the first edition, I rarely ever used airport travel. They made it more efficient or more. They made it more enticing to use airport travel in the second edition and the first edition. So those are the things I enjoyed.
Dan reminded me about that. You can see my finger. Dan reminded me about that in this play. I had forgotten that in first edition, you had to end your turn at an airport in order to then use the airport to move. So You're right. I never wanted to fly.
Right.
And I do prefer that over this? I know that they did this because they wanted the airports to be used more and move around the board more, but this seems like you're just a traveler on an unlimited budget and you
Right.
can just fly wherever you want all the time really easy.
You can really get around the board, which
Too easy.
again, I don't know that I like. Yeah.
But it does cost something to do that travel, though. You have to
Does
pay
it?
for it?
So
Yeah, you have
we-
to pay for flying. You have to pay $1 to fly.
Oh, well, Carlos messed
We
that up.
didn't
We
do
didn't pay
that,
anything.
so okay. Carson's going to go back and double check the rules, but okay.
Unless I read it wrong, but I'm pretty sure that you have to pay $1 to fly.
Carlos is getting the rule book out right now as we speak.
Somebody's
so,
wrong.
Anyway, we'll figure it out. No, we definitely didn't do that. It was just a stop on the way. You just hit the airport and keep going. So
No,
it was like,
you have to-
okay.
Yeah, I think you have to pay $1 to fly, and still count it as a move. And there's a rule about.
Well, that
paying
definitely
to
would have
fly.
lengthened the game because then you wouldn't have had the money to buy these as quickly.
Oh, I would have had
so-
the money because I was just
Just
stacked.
stacked in money. Yeah. So anyway, Carlos is double checking that right now.
Each
so.
time you do, you must pay $1.
Oh, alrighty then. Yep. Okay.
That adds some complexity to the game
See how
because money
quick
is
you found
tight.
that? You found that quick.
Yeah.
It was
Like
quick.
you
would
didn't
not
even read it
that
the
rule.
first time.
It's on the airport rule. Yeah. Anyway.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We learned so much.
Keep them straight.
We'll see how many other rules I can correct Carlos on during this meeting.
The spirit of Lonnie is with us.
Yes.
Yes.
There we
Well,
go.
Carlos didn't win, so that's really not Lonnieing technically.
Oh, right.
That's true.
You got to pull it at the end and
That's a
forget a roll
semi Lonnie.
to win.
Just
yeah.
yeah. I can't even.
Semi-Lonnie?
Let me call it a half Lonnie?
Oh.
What the hell you want me to call it?
We'll stick to semi.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so let's talk about aesthetics. Aesthetics, we incorporate the board, we incorporate the components, we incorporate the rules, like the artwork, like everything that makes the physical pieces of this game and what you look at aesthetics-wise under A. Right off the bat, Dan recognized the board, I think, is the exact same.
I think so. It'd be funny to pull it out and compare it, but yeah, it looks exactly the same.
The addition of the souvenir suitcases, the double... Wayne, remind me on the... Yeah, double layered suitcases. I can't remember if we had that
No,
in the
they were
first
flimsy
version.
they were thin paper. Yeah.
And then we get these plastic vacuum form trays for tokens and cubes. I think the cubes here, I can't remember if they're this big in the first edition, but these are nice beefy
I
cubes.
think they were smaller in the first edition, it feels like, because they had to go on those little spots on the board. So
Yeah, Rob would know. He's the cube expert.
I'm the cube expert. Yeah, don't mess with me on cubes. Yeah.
Card wise, I think the artwork is the same. They've changed some of the narrative on the back of the cards to make it more first person-y RPG like. Right,
Wow.
like before it was just historical facts or facts about a location.
History of that location. Yeah.
Now there's like weird
Little paragraph.
paragraphs. Like what was the one that you had, Rob?
Naked baths in Banff Springs.
It did
in
not
Canada.
say that.
I was upset I didn't get that one.
Yeah, it was taking a bath. Taking a bath outside in the or
Hot springs
visiting the
bath.
hot springs.
Hot
yeah,
springs bath,
in Banff, Canada. Yeah.
and then you and your friends give each other gifts.
give gifts afterwards. Yes.
So I'm not sure how I feel about that change in like I liked it being about location and geography and learning. Adding that role play feel. How did that go over at your house, Wayne?
Because I have the first edition, so you can play both, and you have the history aspect, but also there's a culture aspect too. It's like, just learning about the history of the Taj Mahal is interesting, but learning about some of the culture behind it as well is interesting. So I think it adds depth there, right? So you can have the history of the structure or the location, and then you can also learn about the culture, which I think both have fairly good values as far as like the, me and Underdog Games and playing with my kid and being about education. I think there's aspects of both that you could teach people.
There you go, Carlos. Wayne comes swooping in with a well thought out, very good answer to counter your I don't like it.
I'm still stuck on the fact that it costs $1 to fly. Like,
You haven't forgot about that yet? Yeah. That's
I don't know if I can let that
It's
go.
gonna sting. Yeah.
UI, so the user interface of the cards, the way they're designed, very easy to tell what is what. They did a great job with putting banners on each of the cards. So each card has a banner with its nation or region, and then it's got on that banner a little black star that shows where that city is located, that exact city.
Rob looks so mad when he's trying to do that stuff on the screen.
Oh yeah.
He just looks angry.
The money dial is nice without having to use dollars, coins, or other components. It's all kept on a dial.
Other than we got a big beef about that, but we'll hit that in the negatives.
Yeah, I think we're saving that for the negatives. Outside of that, the rules, my understanding is they cut out 1,500 some odd words from the original rulebook into this rulebook.
That much?
But it's
Yes.
eco-friendly.
Because they took out a lot of the complexity in the game rules to add depth in the cards. So now that you're using the itinerary cards, that dictates how much you move, how much money you make, and how you get souvenirs. It just makes it simple.
Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. I don't remember the first edition being that complex.
It wasn't. I think the rule book was just overly wordy,
Okay.
and they probably got a better sort of editor to say, well, you don't need to say this. You said this in 500 words. You can say it in 100 and be more concise.
Okay.
I will say I'm looking at the player aids. They're very nice, but they say nothing about $1 for flying. I'm just going to put that out there.
We'll save that for negatives, Carlos. Save that for negatives. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, though, the aesthetically speaking, Underdog Games is just solid, right? You're never going to get something that's just insane, like, I don't know, like the Simon level mini whatever.
But
But
you got the linen finish on these cards, which is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not cheap, flimsy cards. They're pretty.
Why didn't you bring that up in the positives?
It's aesthetics.
Aesthetics, yeah. You're always going to get vacuum form trays. The box is easily organizable. It makes the game easy to set up and break down. Everything's pretty clear, good colors, but so it's just solid all around.
Did y'all notice that each of the meeples has a different silhouette? So some have hats, some have ball caps,
Speak
some
English,
have
please.
ponytails.
Yeah, I'm disappointed the pink one is a woman.
Is it really?
Yeah,
it is.
Stereotyping.
Stereotype.
Throw this game in the garbage.
And that brings us to the end for negatives.
Oh, I didn't
first?
even do
Who's
my
first?
negatives yet.
Yeah, no.
Going to the ends. Emmy, I know we were in aesthetics. You had a concern about some of the aesthetics. What was the first thing that hit you?
Talk about the dial.
Okay.
It's your prompt for the dial.
The dial. Okay, so my problem with the dial is that it is double layered and it is nice, like the way it looks. However, when you actually use it, when you twist it up, it takes you to 20 instead of going to 1. So you have to twist it the opposite way than you would usually turn like a dial to go up. Like the numbers increase the opposite way than I used
So
in a
instead
lot.
of spinning the bottom of the dial, hold the bottom of the dial and spin the top.
No, the number
Her
order
and Carlos
on the dial.
both. I have no problem with it. Her and Carlos both were like completely backwards. They couldn't get their mind around. I have to go the opposite way of what I naturally feel like I want to go to make the numbers go up. But
I thought I was crazy when I first played the game because I had that exact feeling.
Like I kept wanting to spin my dial the opposite way. Like I'd be like, okay, I'm at 3, go to 4, and then I'd spin
I'm
it
at
and it
2.
would bring me to 2.
Right. I felt that. Like when you said it, you were like, Lauryn Hill strumming the words to my song.
Speaking to
Or
your soul.
just do the third option, like the idiot like me, and you just turn it upside down. That way you
Wow.
can still turn it the other way, and it's going the correct way.
We just spin them back and
Just
forth,
read the
figure out which
numbers
way
upside
goes
down
up.
the whole game, like I did.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. Me and Carlos did end up flipping it upside down. So you're just reading your number upside down, but it spun the correct way.
That's how we fix it.
Oh, we're not wrong. I mean, check this out. In the chat, Chad Stilson says, I'm with her. Marvel Champions and Mistborn deck building game does the same thing. Like, it's just, it's not intuitive.
I gotta go get one now. I'll be back because I want
All
to
right.
see.
He's got to go find his
And
guy,
don't
figure out what
think
we're
about
talking
it.
about.
Don't think about it. You just got to do it. Like, if you just do it, does it feel right?
Well,
And it didn't. I don't get it.
I can't remember when I first picked it up which way I went. So, I mean,
I went to go add $1 and I'm like, I'm at 20. Wait, what?
Well,
You guys are just talking. Mike, what are your thoughts?
They should have just printed the numbers one way on one side, of the dial and then the other way on the other side of the dial. And then when you assemble it,
you
it'll
choose.
say, do you turn the bottom or turn the top? And then you'd be going in the right direction either way.
Awesome.
There you go. There's the answer.
I knew somebody wouldn't be stupid.
Mike would fix it.
Mike fixes it.
I fixed it. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I picked it up and I might have started to go the wrong way, but as soon as I saw the numbers were going the wrong way, I just went the other way and I just kept doing that. So I don't know. It just wasn't a big deal.
Any other negatives? I know Rob, you had some concerns about this, the first edition.
Yeah, so I'll talk. Yeah,
what do you want to flesh out?
Between the difference of the two editions. So I played the first edition quite a bit. This was my very first play right before we came on the air tonight. Was my first play of this edition, and looking at the board, looking at the general setup, and most of the cards, there is one new type of card in there. I was like, okay, well, this is pretty much the old game. They probably just changed a few things. I heard you don't block anymore. Okay, well, that won't make that big a difference. The suitcase things looked a little different, but once you started getting into the rules and started talking about, okay, you fill these up, now you've got these icons on the suitcase board, and as you fill those up, you get tokens that allow you to cash them in for special actions. You can double the number of cubes you get. You can take an extra flight. You can add on to your movement. You can double the amount of money you get when you take money. I was like, okay, well, now we've definitely got some more options. And then we started talking about these, what they call itinerary cards. And yeah, Amy, maybe you can help me out over there. But those itinerary, hold on, I gotta look mad. Okay. These itinerary cards, now they have 3 sections of the card. So every turn you have to draw an itinerary card. At the top, there's a movement value, 1, 2, or 3. Then there's a dollar amount that kind of is inverse to the movement. If you move a little bit, you get more money. You move a lot, you get less money. And then now you've got this whole banner thing. Oh, there you go. On the bottom. Oh, he's trying to get in there. On the bottom, that now you've got these country codes that allow you to collect different types of cubes. The color of the cube doesn't match the country that you're in. And so now you're thinking about this. You're thinking, all right, what am I going to do for my movement? I need to end in a place that matches this color to get that type of cube, to add it to my board, to take a token of a thing. And then on top of that, I've got these 2 different kinds of cards for different locations that I want to end my turn in, so that I can either go buy a tour or I can pick up an encounter, which gives me an ability that's either a one-time thing or an ongoing thing throughout the game. I will say, Carlos, you are snappy, and I remember the times we've played this. In general, you're just a fairly quick player, and in the first time we played the regular, or every time we played it several times, the first edition, your turns were always pretty quick. I mean, unless you were talking or doing, distracted by something, you were pretty much ready for your turn. In this one, you had, as much as I'm always picked on, you had some pretty prolonged turns. You had times that you were just kind of staring at the board like, oh crap, hold on, how am I going to do this? I got to do that. I got to get to that place. I got to use that card so that I can get that cube, and then in there so I can collect that card, and then that's going to set me up for next time where that card's out there. I can go get that card.
But I need the other card because it's got the right color cube, and that's going to give me the full column. That's going to give me the points. It's going to give me, but wait, if I grab that card, then I can't finish in the continent. I need to... Yes.
So again, I agree with you, number one, that it's more thinky, and I generally like more thinky games. I think people who have watched the show, I'm a Euro gamer. I like long turns. I like thinking things through for the most part. But I have talked in the past that there are games that are, I like quick, snappy turns. I like them to move along. So there's different classifications, I think we'd all agree, in games. This has taken a game that I think was a pretty quick, snappy turn game, and now... and not just you, I wasn't just picking on you. Going around the board, we all had different points in this game. And Wayne made the joke that this maybe it took us 30 minutes. It took us almost an hour and a half. We were learning the game for 3 of us, the new version of the game. But all of us had turns where it's like, whose turn is it? Oh, it's mine. Hold on, I'm still thinking, and I'm trying to figure out how am I going to get to that place to get that cube, to maximize that, to match that color, to do the thing. And this has taken this game and added another layer to it, and it's added length to the game, I think. It's added extra thought to the game, and that's not what I want in Trekking the World. I'd prefer the first one. I prefer quicker turns. All the cubes on the board, I can pre-plan. I'm here. Next turn, I'm going to go there and grab that. These cards change so constantly. We talked about that. I can't pre-plan my turn nearly the way I could in the first game. And so, I don't know. I'm ranting here, but... there's a lot here that it definitely made the game deeper, made it more complex, made it more thinky, which I would tend to like, but I don't like it in this one, I don't think. So anyway, I'm done. Go ahead.
Well, when we were talking about the fact that in the first edition they had the cubes on the board, but that was also like an incentive to go to this spot, to go to that. I felt like when I was playing the game, I was just kind of hitting the same spots over and over again, like going on this trail, because there was nothing. Like, I never went to South America because there was nothing over there that I needed. And if the card wasn't up there, it wasn't even in my brain. There was no, I need to go over there so I can get some of the cubes that are over there. And it just, like, I went on one path and then I went back up that path and then up and down on there. I never went into South America. I never went into the Oceania part.
I told you to stay out of Oceania. It's my land.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that, but yeah, for better or for worse, this game does not promote you necessarily branching out and going to all the different areas. You can kind of move around a little triangle of the board.
Well, there are 8 places on the board, cards
Yeah.
that have 8 different places that you're going to want to gravitate to.
Yeah.
But you were right. There were times when the majority of the cards were Asia. Right, so there's no need to go to North America. I think one person got a card from North America. Was it Robert?
I was just saying, I did that. I went to almost everywhere. I think the only place I didn't go was Oceania.
I told you to stay out.
And I finished in, was it last or next to last? I mean,
Last.
I saw the world and I finished in last place. So I don't know. Yeah.
So I think Rob actually hit it on the head. You have games that Euros that have long terms that are crunchy, but there's a deep strategy there. This, like you said, seems like it made the game longer with more things to do on your turn because of all the different options, but it didn't add any strategy to it. It's just kind of like, I'm going to hop there, and then I'm going to hop there, and then I'm going to hop there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wasn't paying attention for half the game, and then when I figured out what the end game conditions were, I just went around and bought 4 of these things real quick to end the game and won.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't doing anything with any kind of strategy.
All right, outside the studio, Wayne.
I'm quite the opposite, I think, of everyone there. I enjoyed this one. I think I enjoy it more than first edition. I don't think it's more complex than the first edition, and the 3 games we've played so far have been as fast or even faster than the first edition. So I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quick. Pick a card, go do these 3 things, move on. I think the flying, making it easier, allows you to hop around. I think the problem with the first edition, because flying was so sort of intrusive or not incentivized, I would stay in Africa and just bounce around Africa. In this game, I'm bouncing around a lot more because I spend $1 and I can fly across the world to go get that, that the North American thing that just popped up. So as you cycle through the 8 cards that are showing, this game allows you to bounce around more easily than the first edition. Allows you to go around people instead of being blocked. So I think the movement is a lot smoother there. So I found it easier to play even than the first one. And my dial, I picked it up and immediately went down and went up. So it just must be just the way Carlos and Emmy think, because I have no problem.
Chad still seem too.
You have the dial
Chad,
and you turn it right to go up, left to go down. I mean, it's
Chad says spinning something up should make the numbers go up.
yeah.
I'm just doing it again.
Maybe it's like a hero clicks or like magic or just the way dials in certain games.
X-wing, I don't know.
Because I'm used to it. I spin it. I immediately grabbed it and just started spinning it without looking at it and saying, okay, I want to go up. And I looked at it and I was going up. So I guess that is absolutely probably just individual how your brain works or how whatever, or it could be just certain games that we've played have trained us to go right to go up. Yeah. Anyway, but the only negative, I don't really have any negatives. Other than I will say, I will agree a little bit with Dan and Robin, and I mean that the game adds some thinkiness to it, and I can see where it might make a turn longer. So I can certainly understand where people might think that the game's not deep enough for the amount of gameplay there's there. But I don't know. Not the experience I've had so far with it. It's been pretty quick, snappy. So.
What do they advertise? I'm sorry. What do they advertise on the box? I'm just curious. I can't quite see it from here. As far as playtime,
30 to 60.
30 to 60. Okay.
Yeah. It does play 1 to 5 players.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if I played it with 2 and 3. So solo 2 and 3 are the 3 games I played. So I wonder
will
if
say
maybe
4 is different. 4 is
Yeah.
definitely different because there were times where I'm like, okay, when's it my turn? Whose turn is it? There's a little.
It was mostly Rob slowing everything down.
Yeah, of course.
And still coming in last.
But
I don't get it.
These cards cycled quite a bit. I felt, again, I was like, all right, I'm going to do this and this. But when 3 more people are going before me again, half the cards were turned over.
All right. So
that could be the whole trekking through history thing too, where how quickly is that?
But it's different, Wayne. Like there's two rows, right?
Yeah.
There's the tour, and then there's the encounter. So what Rob is talking about is the encounter row. The encounter row, that thing flew. Encounters are easy to get. You don't have to pay for it. You just got to be there.
We almost ran out of them.
Correct. For the first time, we almost ran out of the deck. We almost had to reshuffle, right? The tours, on the other hand, I think moved. Look at that. The tours were very slow to move.
Yeah.
I think Dan had 4. Emmy and I had 3. I had 3. Rob had 1.
And I had 2 at the end, but yeah.
2. Okay. So I think that adds up to maybe 8. Math. 12 at most. It's a display of 4, so it only flowed, like it only changed 3 times. Like it only flopped over. What's the word? Cycled over 3 times?
Yeah.
That's not a lot.
Yeah.
So the tours don't cycle over. The encounters do.
And I think we had somewhat different. Is like when I played it with my kid, my wife, I think we forgot about those encounters and focused on the tours more. So I think that could also potentially slow stuff down too, because if people are just going someplace to get the tour versus the encounter, and I think that's what it's kind of a negative is, like you have to balance the two, right? Like I kept focusing on, well, I need to go to the Great Wall of China and turn in these cards to do this tour, forgetting the fact that I'm passing through a spot where I could have stopped and gotten a tour. So I think that's you can forget one versus the other. I think is what we're seeing.
Yeah, with the encounter cards, all I did was every time one popped up like that, where I could cycle the bottom row and get $3 each time. I did that a bunch of times to build up my money, and then I could just run around the board and buy all the tours and end the game.
And that doesn't help if you're trying to plan, and then all of a sudden the person who goes before you every time keeps cycling the cards out on you. You were sitting there, and I was like, okay, I have my turn planned, and then he went wipe, and then there was nothing for me to do.
Did you have a card that let you wipe the bottom?
2 different ones.
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, because the abilities
okay.
abilities are repeated on the cards. So a lot of these encounter abilities are repeated, and Dan kept scooping that one up. Poor Emmy sitting next to Chaos. I mean, when you go after Chaos, what do you expect?
Yeah, it's gonna be a while.
But part of what I was trying to say about the differences is it also allows for, because it is harder to get a tour because you have to have money and you have to be in that exact spot. You're gonna see those cycle less than the encounters, right? And to me, that's a good thing. That's not a negative. That's like I complained about trekking through history not cycling enough. Here, one row is cycling, the other one not as much, right? So you can strategize to the tours, and you can play tactically to the encounters. That makes sense?
Yeah.
My English good looking?
Yeah.
Okay. And I didn't really have any negatives other than the dial being backward. That was it. That was my only negative. I'm with Wayne, and then we're going to move into the summary part of our conversation because we want to open up this phone line. Before I hit summary, though, there's a difference between depth and complexity. And I think Rob is bringing up a lot of issues with the depth in the game. If you want to win, you've got to figure out how to plan that. It wasn't any rules that made it complex to do that. The rules are easy to do that. It's the depth in the game of, if I want to win, I got to make sure I'm picking the right card that gets me the exact moves that I need to be able to grab an encounter or a tour and cubes all at the same time. And I like that. I like that feeling, that grok that occurs when you get it. And because Rob placed last, I don't think you got it.
And there's more complexity. I don't think you could argue that, can you? I mean, it's definitely more complex than the first version. There's more icons now. There's
because
more...
movement on the board, there's no thinking for movement on the board. I don't got to think who can I move through or not, or can I take that route? It's pick a card.
I disagree.
Move.
Yeah.
I think I'm in between. I think, Rob, I think there is a little bit more, but it's not tremendous. I mean, we're talking about 1.5 to a 1.6 or 1.7. It's not a huge.
It's not a huge jump, right?
It's a tiny bit more. Maybe.
But I think it's definitely more.
But
complex,
but I think it's more complex. But I think they made it easier to learn in some respects because there's no blocking and you don't have to
You have to end your turn on an airport in order to trigger the airport.
They've simplified some of the
exceptions. There's no exceptions.
Yeah,
now you have to pay $1.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. We didn't. No.
I got to play this again.
You flew Spirit Airlines all the time.
And we were just flying free.
I have to play this again. I'm going to have to play this again.
Yeah.
With the dollar rule. To see. You know how much I've played this? I've played solo 2. I've played 4. I've played, it's...
So since none of those plays count, you have not played this
No
yet.
wins.
I guess I got to open up my BG stats and be like, that game was a lie. That game was a lie. That game was a lie.
Massive asterisk.
Delete. Yeah.
In summary, I'll start. I bought it. I think it's a great deal. I bought it at the flea market, at the TGG flea market. I bought it for, I think it was like $40. I think, Dan, what's the same game going for?
The price point's 50.
Retail 50.
Retail at 50. I think for the components, the quality of the game, the fact that it comes with a solo bot for 1 to 5 players, there aren't many games that can reach that level. This should go in someone's collection. I think this is a buy. Emmy, you're a broke college kid. Would you spend $50 on a board game like this?
Try, buy, or deny is our scale. So either would you recommend somebody try it before they buy it, or just pretty much everybody should own it, they should buy it, or just nobody should really be interested in it, just deny it?
I think in this, I'm between the deny and try, because I feel like it's one of those things where if you know you like that kind of game, I would say try it first. But if this isn't your style of game usually, just don't do it. Like I didn't think there was necessarily like a point of playing it. Like if I could do it again, I wouldn't particularly have tried it. I just would have been like, that game looks cool. Move on.
See, that sounds like a deny.
Yeah.
She's trying to be nice. She's trying to be nice.
It's a partial deny.
Yeah. Would you give it a semi-deny, Dan?
No, I would give it a try. I don't think it's a bad game. It's just definitely not for me. I didn't enjoy it. I don't really enjoy the first one that much either. I mean, if I'm over somewhere and people want to play it, I'll have fun being a chaos idiot running around the board doing what I did during this game. But no, I definitely would not buy it, but I would try it to see if it's something you like. I think $50 is a fair price for it.
I would say it's a try. I'd say if you are looking for a family weight game, we talked about this a little bit while we played, the comparison to maybe like a Ticket to Ride. I think it's a small step up from Ticket to Ride, a little more complex to teach, a little more complex to play, but not a big step. Again, we're talking just a couple of points on that scale. So it's just a small step up, kind of maybe that next step game that we tend to call, we get those gateway entry games, and then the next step where you would teach to a new gamer. So if you're looking for a light game, I don't think it's bad. I definitely say try. If you're a Euro gamer and you like a lot of heavy depth, I think it's probably a deny. There's other light games that I would prefer to play, and then of course I don't think this gets into the realm of the heavier games. And I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I think I like the first one better. Did I make that clear? I will play this again. I'm going to give it a fair shake. I'm going to play it again 1 or 2 more times just to be sure.
Right way.
Yeah, the right way. Paying the dollar. That's right, Mike. So paying the dollar to fly, but we'll do it again, and then I'll maybe give a revision. But I'd say give it a try if you're in the market for this kind of game.
Wayne.
I'm going to go try, just because for similar purpose. I mean, it really depends on your game style. For me, anything underdog's a buy, because of the weight of them fits right in with my 10-year-old and my wife, myself. And actually some of my kids' friends are starting to play games like, let's play another game. So I've started teaching some of them games. So this is a game I can teach them. And me as an educator, any game that I can work in some education as well with a 10-year-old, kind of gamify the game a bit, is good. So it's, learning geography, it's learning about the different places around the world, learning about, in this new one, learning about culture. So I enjoy the underdog game. So for me, it was a buy. I kickstarted it, right? But for the general gamer, if you're looking for like a Ticket to Ride like game that's a little different, not just placing trains on a map, but and obviously the production value, beats Ticket to Ride type games. So for about the same price that you would pay for Ticket to Ride nowadays, this is definitely a worthwhile investment.
Mike, have we sold you on this game? Are you gonna?
Not at all.
No, not in your wheelhouse?
Not at all. I mean, it's a game that I still want to try it, but it's gone from like, I'd really like to try that game to if somebody wants to teach it, I guess I'll try it.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for, helping people make educated decisions on their purchases.
And we'll play it at Dice Tower West, so you can see.
There you go.
Awesome.
That's going to do it for the beans of this episode, and now we're going to open up the phone lines. 813-618-7099 is the number. We're going to open up the phone lines to take your calls to talk about board games that you've been playing.
Or other stuff.
Or other stuff.
We'll ramble about whatever.
Yeah, you call in. The show is yours for 5 minutes. You talk about whatever it is you want to.
A lengthy discussion on dial turning and...
Yeah, I mean, we got deep into dial turn in there. I mean, that took off, yeah.
I'm just glad I'm not the only one. You said it, and my eyes lit up. Like, okay, I thought I was crazy.
But you think
Okay.
so all right, think about it. So think about any faucet you've ever turned on, right? You always turn it to the right.
Well, on the right side, you turn to the left one to the left.
No, you still turn it to the
No.
No,
No.
the left one you turn to the left, the right one you turn
Now
to the
Wayne's
right.
gonna leave to go to the
Yeah,
bathroom.
No, I don't have that. No,
Check
actually,
it out.
I just have the one dial anyway. I don't
Oh,
have-
yeah,
I don't have
we
the
do
two
too,
faucets.
No, your bathtub has 2 dials, and that's how it
No,
does. You
mine
have
has
to turn
one.
them in.
Yeah, turn them in opposite directions, but yeah.
Yeah,
You
deep.
bathe?
No, I don't bathe.
Yeah.
She does. She obviously uses
I
my
cannot believe we're
bathtub.
spending this much time
On dials?
the
On dial
direction
turning?
a dial needs to go.
Hold on, I'm gonna go home and get my Gloomhaven. I'm gonna come back. You guys
Wait,
hold
wait.
on for a minute. Just wait.
Wait, I actually do have a little.
No.
I do have a little note on that. Is while we were talking about it, I did realize that most of the gaming I've done recently, because I haven't played any games at school,
Segue.
has been me playing Jaws of the Lion.
Segway.
And in that's the way the dial works. Is you turn it that way. So I think it might have just been the fact that I was so used
Muscle
to spinning
memory.
that dial that it was just different for me. But like when I just picked it up and I started turning it, I was like, that's just wrong.
All right, phone lines are open. Everybody call and tell us what your experience is with different dials, and
dials.
different games.
Should dials go left or should dials
First
go
caller.
right? Yeah. Welcome on in. But no, we can segue there a little bit because one of the things I wanted to touch on tonight, just we don't have to spend much time on it, but Emmy and I finally finished. How old is this game? Somebody look up when Jaws of the Lion came out. I mean, this
Nice.
has been around a little while, but we finally finished our campaign of Jaws of the Lion. So Jaws of the Lion, just for anybody who doesn't know, is kind of the intro version of Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven being a big, heavy ish dungeon crawler. Jaws of the Lion is just a little version of it that's 30 scenarios as compared to I think 120 in Gloomhaven and Frosthaven. So it's just a little taste of it. The first 5 scenarios really ease you into the rules. They kind of teach you step by step how to get into it. It came out after the big Gloomhaven game, so it was like an afterthought of, hey, for people who might be interested in Gloomhaven but want to just get a taste of it, here's a way to kind of put your toes in the water and see if this is a system that you like before you make at the time it was a $120 investment in the Gloomhaven. Now you can get Gloomhaven on sale for $70-$80. But anyway, so we finally finished. We started a campaign. Actually, all 4 of us were in a campaign together.
We did 5 episodes on the channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where we played
We did.
the first 5 scenarios.
Dan was not there for the first 5 scenarios.
No, Dan was
Dan
there.
was.
No. Because
Yeah,
it was
with
it was
Nick.
it was you guys with Nick, and I played a couple times because I was filling in for Dan.
There was
Yeah.
a couple
Okay,
that Dan
right.
missed and you covered for him.
Yeah.
Yep. So we all had that experience, and then we kind of shelved it. We never got back to it. And so, about a year ago, maybe, I asked Carlos and said, hey, can I borrow that? I'm going to get one of the kids to just dedicate some time to play it. And so, obviously, we didn't do it intensely. It took us a year to get through it. But I wanted to just get kind of Emmy, who's I won't call her a new gamer. She's definitely done some gaming, but she's not a heavy gamer at this point by far. But just kind of get some quick thoughts here just on what do you think about the campaign? Does it make you interested in maybe someday trying Gloomhaven? And then, what did you just think? Was the story strong? Was the story kind of weak? Do you really remember what the story was? What do you think?
Well, for the first part of that, after playing it, I would definitely not be opposed to trying like Gloomhaven or anything. I liked the game. I enjoyed playing it. I'm not somebody who does a whole lot of like super commitment for time. So I think the only thing that might stop me from ever playing like Gloomhaven would be the fact that it would be a time commitment. Like if we were doing it where like me and you were playing it, where again, we played it on lunch breaks, some nights and stuff, just whenever we had time, sure. But if I was playing with like a group of people where they were like, we want to have like weekly or bi-weekly meetings, I don't know if I'd be able to commit to something like that, but that would be the only thing stopping me from ever playing the game.
Okay.
All right. Well, the good news is that you can get it digitally online.
I was going to bring Dan in. Dan's got some pretty good experience with the digital version of it, and I know you've played, obviously, Jaws of the Lion. You
Yeah.
never played full-blown table Gloomhaven, right? You never played the big...
No, only online.
But you played it online. So as far as your comparison between Jaws of the Lion and the digital version, what do you think about that?
That's definitely a game that I prefer the digital version
Okay.
because all the fiddliness and setup and all that is taken care of.
Yeah.
Plus, it eliminates the issue with scheduling where everyone's going to meet up in the same location. You could just do it online at a certain time, save the game, and come back to it.
Yeah.
What platform
Steam.
Yeah, it's a Steam.
Because I heard Switch is an option.
It is available on Switch now.
That's
So,
crazy.
Yeah, it's just a board game that's moved into the digital realm. I mean, how often does that really happen? I mean, we've seen it the opposite way around. We've seen lots of video games convert to board games, but how many have we seen go kind of the other way? I mean, I guess it is the same game. You're really playing kind of the board game in a digital version, but it's definitely fancy. I mean, it's slick. There's some streamlining of some stuff. It's not exactly the same, but again, I don't know how often we've seen that it's kind of gone in that direction. Now it's available like on Switch, and I guess with some other things, the Stonemeyer Wingspan did kind of that. It's moved into digital. It's on Switch.
I only play that digitally now too.
Yeah, so it's available on a lot of platforms. So it's happened a few times, but I'm curious to see what you think about the story. So you're not a big game story person. You haven't played a bunch of games with narrative and big storylines or whatever. I found it, my 2 cents, I found it to be a little weak. I really don't remember the story. It wasn't real memorable. I enjoyed playing the game more, but what did you think about the story?
I liked the story. Since I usually am able to remember what's going on and what I'm doing, it wasn't a big problem for me. I could I might not remember all of the small details, but like if you win a scenario that wasn't like to move the plot line and you just did something where it was like one of the one-off scenarios one of the one-off missions they have, when we came back I was able to be like, okay, I remember where we're at, what we're doing, why are we here instead of there, and I felt like it did progress well. But I'm also much more of a theme person than like you are.
Sure, yeah.
I do enjoy having themes in what I'm doing in the games.
Rob likes to claim he doesn't like theme, and then all he talks about are themes.
The guy who doesn't like theme, he's in like 6 different campaign games.
Oh yeah, I just started another one last night, but we'll get into that later. Yeah.
But since I like the themes, I like having like the story instead of just having like these random monsters. It kind of, some of them, it told you how the monster and why the monster's here, and I like that. But again, I am the themey person. Like my dad will ask me if I have 2 of the exact same game and I tell you one's space themed and one's pirate themed, will it change which one you'll play? And I'm like, yes, I will choose the pirate over the space because I like that theme better.
You'll play the one with the better game mechanisms is what you'll play. Yeah.
If it was the exact same, you missed the qualifier.
I'm just making a joke. I'm making a joke, but anyway, yeah.
Oh, you'd make jokes too?
A joke? I'm a jokester. Can't you tell? I'm hilarious. I am hilarious.
So the one issue that I have with the digital version though is you cannot buy just Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion on Steam. You have to own Gloomhaven, and the Jaws of the Lion is an expansion.
I didn't even know you could get Jaws of the Lion as part of the Steam. So yeah, you can. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do Gloomhaven and Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion on Steam. They were both on my wish list. They're on sale right now. Hey, but yeah, it'd be like you have to buy both. So.
I'm sure Frosthaven will be digital soon.
I'm sure we'll
within a year or 2.
Emmy Chester asks, Space Pirates.
Space Pirates? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll save that for the other geeky goodness at the end of the show. We'll talk about Space Pirates. Just saying. Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion. I don't know. It to me, Robert, you played all of Gloomhaven.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Jaws of the Lion is not going to be as deep.
Mm-hmm.
But what's the price point at Target? We've seen it as low as in the 30s.
I was like, you can get it on sale, for about
20,
$30.
25,
yeah, 25, 30 bucks.
16.
Yeah.
Is it worth the price?
Well, again, you're probably asking the wrong person. Like you say, I've played all the way through Gloomhaven. I'm a third of the way through Frosthaven. I now have played all the way through Jaws of the Lion, which actually I started 3 different campaigns of it, tried it 3 different times, and finally got through. So that's an accomplishment that I'm proud that we finally completed. But I would say, hell yeah. I mean, that's for me. That's I enjoy dungeon crawlers to start with, and this takes dungeon crawler and puts extra thinkiness to it. That whole play 2 cards, top and bottom, decide your initiative between the 2 cards. You got different numbers on them. Decide which one you want to play to see if you can go fast or slow, and it's really a thinking version of a lot of these lighter dungeon crawlers. You're not just chucking dice. So some people hate that. Some people miss that.
So even
part.
with the concerns about the theme or the story not being as in depth, it's still it's a good value proposition. Because major majority of most human beings are not going to go buy Gloomhaven.
That's what I was just about to
right.
say is it seems like a now that they have this product available, that seems like the smart thing to do would be to buy that.
100%.
See if I like that a whole bunch, and if I
100%.
do, I'm buying the big box.
Yep. That's as soon as we finished as soon as we finished Jaws, I'll just do this and I'll give up. As soon as we finished Jaws, the first thing I asked her, I said, all right, well, I know that you may not make the commitment, and I'm not asking you to make the commitment to play Gloomhaven with me, but would you now just consider does that now make you kind of interested in Gloomhaven? And then, her answer she pretty much gave tonight that, yeah, that does spark a little something there. But go ahead.
I was just going to say the first 5 scenarios alone, the tutorial that it pretty much walks you through how to play. This is how this works. This is, and then it just kind of builds off of that. That alone, if you're even considering getting into Gloomhaven and you're not that type of gamer where you can sit down with the rule book and like really learn how to play. I mean, just spend the $20 and it'll teach you how to play by walking you through.
Well, and even sorry, I was saying Rodney Smith has an amazing 5-video series that walks you through the first 5 missions. So you could literally watch the video as you're reading the book, playing the game, and it makes it even easier. I would add, I'm halfway through Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, and I don't know if I'm ever going to finish it. Just because from the opposite perspective, I think Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, Frosthaven is a great introduction to kind of like a D&D type world for board gamers. It is not a good way to go the other way around. Because I've talked about it on the show before. My wife and I are both, I'm a big board gamer, but we're also very big role players. And we went into Gloomhaven thinking it would be a way for us to play a role-playing game with an in-depth storyline and all this stuff that but in a board game format, and it just didn't hit for us like that. Like I would rather not play a game like Gloomhaven and just go play D&D.
Yeah. And so Jaws of the Lion, again, that allows you to get that taste of it and see, in 30 or less scenarios, whether you want to commit the time and the money to buy that big old box. That Gloomhaven and Frosthaven are big boxes, take up a lot of shelf space, and they're big commitments. So, yeah, 100%. I'd say anybody now who at this point who's thinking about getting into Gloomhaven or Frosthaven should try Jaws of the Lion first. Yeah.
And I think if the Jaws of the Lion is also an introductory to like those campaign games, that there are now 1,001 various giant campaign games that you can get into. So
yep.
Let's take a moment and go through the chat real quick, see if we missed anything in here. The chat's been popping. It's been popping. Let's see, where we left off. We talked about the 4 years of doing this show. Pablo42 had said, I haven't seen a full comparison of this edition versus the old edition. We were talking about our Give It the Beans of Trekking the World. So hopefully we gave you 40 minutes worth of that discussion.
Achievement unlocked.
Yes. Let's see. Chester Wilson says, I only beat Sonic 2 with the help of Game Genie.
Oh, Game Genie.
Good old Game Genie.
We're talking about Nintendo Entertainment System, Game Genie.
Sega.
Let's see. Chester throws in some comments that go over my head, so we're going to go past
Super Hobo, that's me.
Super Hobo. Oh,
Yeah.
he's talking about Dan.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to the show, Dan. Thanks for being here.
Super Hobo.
Let's see. We talked about the dials. We beat that up.
Dials.
Can we quickly go over all that again?
Brief version.
Let's see. We're talking about the buying, trying, or denying. James Odak says it's a soft deny.
That's why Emmy was talking. I think he was saying it was kind of her in between deny and try. It was a soft deny.
She was just being nice.
Yeah.
Odak talks about Wingspan being on
There you
Switch
go.
too.
Nice.
We got Edmund England out of Sweden saying, Merry Christmas, guys. Merry Christmas, Edmund England.
Yeah.
We were just talking today before the show with Dan. I was like, I still don't know how we found a viewer
In Sweden.
in Sweden who continually shows up. Like, what nonsense are we putting out here that makes him still show up?
Is
We
that- is
appreciate
that
like
it.
3 in
Is
the
that
morning.
him commenting right there?
Yeah,
That is
that's Edmund
So
England.
he's in Sweden and his name is England.
Edmund England, and from Sweden. And he's,
Imagine the pirate battles.
yeah,
I know.
It's 3 in the morning there. Yeah.
Thanks,
I think
Edmund.
3 in the morning.
But not space pirates.
Oh, Chester's going to be disappointed there. All right, let's talk now. Let's go through some of our recent plays. We'll go through our recently played games. We're not going to qualify these anymore. I always qualified them as they got to be on the table, right, to count them as a play. My mind has changed. I think that any play counts. BGA, tablet, Android, whatever you play, this is your chance to talk about it. I say we give 5 minutes each of us to go through what you've played in the last week or so, and then highlight whichever one you want. I'll go first, putting 5 minutes on the clock for me. Here we go. This week, I got to play some Flip 7, Trekking the World 2nd Edition. I got some gizmos in. Actually, a lot of gizmos in. And Lord of the Rings, Duel for Middle-earth, some Quacks of Quedlinburg, and some Res Arcana, all in this last week.
Less than 5 minutes, you're done. All right, go. No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was actually looking down at the timer. I don't have concepts of time. I just don't have that. Thoughts that I had, so highlights that I want to put out there. I got to play the Lord of the Rings Duel Middle-earth using the solo rule set that you can print and play from BGG. Somebody took the solo rules for Seven Wonders Duel that the publisher put out for Seven Wonders Duel during COVID. They put out like a deck and some rules for how to play it, and they kind of converted it to Seven Wonders Duel. It is hard for Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
It is hard. Sauron destroyed me, but it felt good. At first, it felt real easy. Like, okay, this is a very simple, basic AI. I flip a card, I do what it says. I can beat this thing. And then slowly, the AI, Sauron, began to come in from all approaches. Like it was almost like just like a slow bleed, but for everything. He was getting race tokens. He was getting place on the map. So he was getting units on the board. And then he was also getting... the ring token, the ring wraiths were moving at a high rate of speed, chasing Frodo, and I just felt as I got closer to the end of that game, right before it ended, that I was just trying to like put out fires. Like, okay, I got to grab that green card so he doesn't get it, and I got to make sure I kill some of his units there so he doesn't get the win by area control, and that's when it really started feeling good. Like, okay, how do I? And I almost thought I had it, and then he beat me. So I mad props to Lord of the Rings, Duel for Middle-earth, the Solo Rules Edition. And then the other main thought that I had this week while playing games, I got to play some Res Arcana, some Quacks of Quedlinburg, and some Gizmos, and I really walked out forgetting how good Gizmos is. I know that I put some stuff in our chat about Gizmos over Res Arcana, and it really took some...
Wrong.
Whack you right in the mouth.
Wrong.
I tell you, it took some wise words from a man known for just calm demeanor, my man Dan, to say, why can't both be good? Like, that was his response. Dan is right.
I like both games.
The fact
Yeah.
that you were saying one is better than the other.
Because of how I felt that on those plays, right? When I walked away from Gizmos, and I played it 4 times that weekend, when I walked away from Gizmos, the combos come to you in one turn. Like all the great combination that you set up come in one hit. So that dopamine hit hits fast and hard. Res Arcana feels more like it's that long bleed, like one action at a time. Okay, they can go. Now I can do one action. And then over time, you kind of create that cool a goal, reach that goal, buy that place of power, that monument, right? But that took a more of a long bleed versus the Gizmos, which gives you that nice drop of like, look at the 18 things I did in one turn.
Are you sure that's not just recency bias? Where you've played a bunch of games of that, but you haven't played the other one in a while?
No, I played kind of, which got me wanting to play Gizmos. That same weekend, I played both because I was like, okay, I'm really liking this Res Arcana. Let's play Gizmos and compare. Like I wanted to play both. So I wanted to really compare them.
Okay, so then that's not an issue.
Yep. But it was good. Both good games. And I still have a little bit of time left. Rob, you want to give us your recent games played?
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot. I'll just run down them real quick, and then I'll focus on my play last night. But got a couple games in of Flip 7. Those are both over here. We played Second Saturday Game Day. Was that right? We played number 9 a couple of times. Castles of Burgundy, the special edition. We played over at Alex's house. The nice version that I know Wayne's got. I know several people in our group have that now with the 3D castles and all that cool stuff. So that was nice pulling that out and playing that. Tonight, playing Trekking the World, and then we got a game of Flip 7 in real quick before the show tonight. I didn't log it here because I'm not sure that I want to or how to log it, but last night we started a campaign of the I got to get the title right. It's the Acquisitions Incorporated Clank Legacy 2, the second edition. And so that just delivered. Jim got that, I want to say less than 2 weeks ago, came in. And so he quickly set up a group, 4 of us. It's myself, Samantha, Daryl and Jim are playing at his house. We're going to try to do it every other Wednesday, maybe with a couple other days thrown in just to kind of keep it moving along. But if I remember correctly, it's going to be 12 scenarios. It's a legacy game of Clank. And so you're going to be stickering stuff. You're stickering cards. It actually has scratch-off sections on cards, so you're scratching things off. You're stickering the main board. You're naming things. You're labeling things with markers. And so it's that cool. I enjoy that legacy part of games. Jim will not allow us to tear up his cards. So when it says destroy, he's like, we're not going to destroy. We're going to tuck these in a nice little envelope. And I was like, oh, that's like one of my favorite things in playing the pandemic legacies and whatnot, was ripping stuff up and throwing it up in the air and just kind of going, hell yeah, caution to the wind. We don't ever get to do this to a board game. So I'm missing that little part of it. But as far as the game itself, it's Clank. I mean, it doesn't do anything super unclanky. So far, we've gotten one game in, so unclanky, unclunky, uncluttered. I don't know. Whatever.
It's okay.
Anyway, I saw everybody roll the eyes, so I had to stop on that. But anyway,
I was going to the back of my brain trying to understand.
Unclanky?
Clanky, is that a thing?
Unclanky. Anyway,
Phone lines are open. Call and let us know what you think about Unclanky
About
and
Unclanky,
all of your
being
dial
Unclanky.
issues.
But it is Clank, so I mean, it is competitive. Although Jim pointed out that he played solo through the first Clank, I think it was. Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, but he got it in, and for whatever reason, we couldn't get a group together, so he just decided to go through it, and he soloed it. So he pointed out to us that even though it is a competitive game and you keep score from one to the next, that you can open more content in the game by kind of going semi-cooperative, because there's different little tasks you can run around, pick this up over here, deliver it over there. It gets you some points for the end game, and there's definitely some story. There's a hidden tome of storybooks. So as you do different things, it has you pick up the storybook and read out loud to everybody, advancing either your personal quests and your personal story, or big objectives that the whole group can kind of work towards. So it's got some cool things to it. But all in all, it's Clank. It's if you're familiar with the Clank system, running around, going into a dungeon, picking up a treasure, running out. The dragon's attacking you every round. You're trying to get the most points from game to game. But I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. We all had a good time. It was one of the games that afterwards it took us. This was our learner game. It took us about 3 hours, I want to say, with the very quick teach. We'd all played Clank before, so it was just kind of refreshing our memories on a few things. But then jumping into it, playing it, future games should be faster. But the first one was pretty gentle, I want to say. The dragon wasn't real nasty or whatever. I have a feeling certainly that's going to pick up as we go along. But it's got some cool things in it. I won't give any spoilers, but there's a few little unique things. But so I'm looking forward to see what's coming. And again, we talked afterwards that we all really enjoyed it, and we're looking forward to maybe the next session of trying to do a double, get right into it and play 2, knock a couple scenarios out, so it doesn't take us forever to play. But yeah, I appreciate Jim hosting. I appreciate him letting us play his version of the game. So Jim Odak, big thumbs up, and we'll keep plowing along. I'll update people as we go. But that's been my week in gaming.
How many expansions did he add to it?
Oh, well, see, it's a legacy game, so there's stuff that just constantly comes in all the time. But yeah, no
Did he
expansions
open
yet.
it all and add it immediately?
We did. We just opened it and poured it all on the table. No, yeah, we're playing it right. We're keeping the secret stuff secret. And actually, it's one funny thing. There's a big envelope that all the hidden stickers and stuff are in. When we play Frosthaven, it's got the same kind of thing. We just kind of put them on a pile on the side. We're like, we're not studying it. We're not looking at it. But it is out in the open. Jim is very secretive. He's like, he doesn't let anybody look. He pulls the sticker sheet out. He takes the sticker off, puts it back in, and then stickers the board or whatever.
Well, that's because he's already played the game and took them all off, and then he
so
put
he's
them back
redoing
on.
it?
So they're
Okay.
on there kind of wonky, and he doesn't want you to see that.
Gotcha. I understand. So, but no, it's a good time. Yeah, I'm enjoying it already. So, that's me.
Dan, this, as Rob said it, I liked it. This week in gaming. Any updates for this week in gaming?
I was at the same game day as Rob,
Yep.
so we did play the Castles of Burgundy. I had a copy of that deluxe version of the game that I never opened and sold it, which I'm fine with that because it's easier to play online.
Yeah.
But I did really like playing that deluxe version finally, considering I had it at one time. So that was nice.
Those bakelite tiles and stuff
Yeah,
in there
that was
are really,
really,
nice.
it's really well done.
Yeah.
And it better be for the price point.
Oh, yeah.
But it's worth what you pay for it. What's in those boxes is worth it.
Agreed.
And then what was the name of the number stacking game again?
Number 9?
Number 9, yeah. That was fun. I'd play that. My wife would like that one.
Yeah.
Other than that, the only other game I've played this week is me learning and trying to set up a filming session at home for that new game that got delivered, Purple Haze, the Vietnam.
Looks good.
That is probably my favorite new game that I've played all year. That is a hell of a game. It's a combination of you have separate missions that you're going on that all tie together. You get experience for your soldiers. They get different skills. There's different points you can go in each mission that'll change the narrative throughout the game.
Based on the 1960s, the Vietnam War conflict. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. And between the RPG elements, the legacy elements of you taking these guys, this squad of Marines throughout all these missions, the combat, I really, really like the combat system they have in it where you're, it's much more tactical than I thought it was when I first looked at it. I'm not going to go into depth on how it plays. Me and Carlos talked about it for, I don't know, probably like 20, 30 minutes when I first got here. But it's definitely something that I'm going to talk about more in depth. And I've already started filming a test playthrough of it to see if it looked good on film, and it does. So I'll be doing a full playthrough. It's going to show up on the channel here soon.
It's story heavy. I keep hearing people who have reviewed it or talked about it, comparing it to like a choose your own adventure kind of. There's decision points where you make decisions and it sends you down one path or another and can wildly change your experience on how you play the game.
Yeah, I played through the first mission twice now, and both times I played it, it was a completely different experience. There was a few things that were similar, but I purposefully took different points.
Paths. Yeah.
And at the beginning of all the scenarios, you as a squad leader are choosing what you want to do by the end, and what you choose is going to determine how many points you get at the very end when you go through the whole campaign, whether you're trying to protect your troops, gain rank, or get revenge on the VC for killing your troops. I mean, there's all kinds of different things. And once you make that decision, that's what you're doing and trying to manipulate through the rest of the missions.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to giving that one a try. Whether we jump into a full campaign or we just dabble and test it out, I'm all in.
Yeah, because I was asking Dan about could we play it like on a Thursday night, pre-show,
Definitely.
and have it set up here and get it on stream if anything. Because I'd at least like to play the first scenario, maybe not commit to a whole campaign, but at least a first scenario to get a feel for these mechanisms.
Commitment issues over here.
Hey, Emmy and I both, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, but that's different. I'm a college student.
You're an old man.
Yes. All right, Wayno, any in this week in gaming?
Yeah, mostly light games. Holiday season, getting my kid and some of his friends are in no home, so they're hanging out of the house. Played some Gingerbread House, the Harding game.
Praise be.
Trekking, second edition, Museum Suspects, Catapult Kingdoms, lots of Catapult Kingdoms. It's a big hit with the kids, and some Crokinole. So yeah, lots of light games.
Crokinole.
Yeah, I like some Crokinole. I am enjoying the Elite board from the most recent Kickstarter.
I bet.
It's good. So yeah, I actually need to get that over to your house, Carlos, at some point. Next couple of weeks, maybe just compare the two boards to see.
You need to play. You need to bring it over. We'll have a little mini tournament.
Yeah, Rob, might as well get your trophy now.
Oh, there's a trophy? Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. No, so it's good. I'm not, and that's all in person. So that's more gaming in the last week than I probably had the last 2 months, which is good. Yeah, and hopefully we'll get some more games in. But enjoying lots of new games on BGA, so I'm enjoying that.
Yep.
I've been playing a ton of Distilled and Let's Go to Japan, a bunch of other games. So I'm excited to see that they're releasing a lot of new games that are really just sort of hit or immediately coming out digitally, which is good. So, but no, it's good. I think Gingerbread House is one. It's an okay game. It's very light. It kind of reminds me of Reef, where you're building up. So you have a set number of pieces, and you're basically, as you cover up pieces of gingerbread in the house, building upwards, you gain that, and you use that gingerbread to attract people to your house because you're the witch trying to attract people to your gingerbread house. So it's kind of a fun light game. It's kind of quasi-ish Christmassy type thing, I guess.
So good, wholesome holiday theme, yeah. And
Yeah, exactly.
luring kids
So-
into your house with gingerbread.
With gingerbread,
and,
exactly. Yeah.
And then what are you doing with them after that?
Yeah, exactly. I have it on my table to set up. So hopefully this weekend I will be playing the Final Girl Christmas edition.
The
Nice.
Kringle.
Nice.
Krampus and
Krampus.
Kringle.
That was it. Krampus.
Yeah, Krampus and Kringle, whatever. So I'm gonna try to play through those two before the next game session. And then I also have the Kringle Caper, which is the little 18 card escape room games. They have like each holiday. They have them like birthday and the New Year's and whatever. So the Kringle Caper is the Christmas version. So I'll probably get that. See if maybe my wife and kid want to do that this weekend. So
Glad to hear the gaming's coming back and
oh yeah.
things are getting better. All the way out in the West Coast, looking for that gaming this week.
Got a couple of games in. One in person and one on BGA. I really haven't played all that much. But Flip 7, got a game of Flip 7 in. I know that when we did our top 20, it was like on my top 20, then dropped immediately because my last play really wasn't all that great.
Guess who's back? Back again. Is it coming back? Is it coming back on the list?
It may land on the top 20 again. Played with the grandkids. We were kind of like waiting for my son to come pick them up. And I was like, do you guys want to play a game really quick? And they're like, yeah, all right, I got a card game, so we broke it out, taught it to them. And it's one of those games, it's pretty simple to pick up. And once we did that like first round and they saw like how it actually worked, they were 100% on board and they were getting all into it. And even the youngest one, was like, all right, well, how many points do you, it's almost like a learning game for younger kids because they have to count their points up and they have to figure out, like how many points do they have. And, so it was fun. And I actually ended up losing to Graham.
Good teacher.
Had,
Teacher.
Yeah, he had like, I want to say he had 6 cards out in front of him and he was like just risking it. And then he got the ×2 and he ended up getting like, 60, 70 points in one round or something. So he ended up wiping the floor with us.
I hit 70 tonight with a ×2.
Yeah.
35 ×2, 70 in one round. Woo! I lost, but
Still lost.
I lost by 10 points to Dan. But yep, it felt good to hit 70.
Yeah, man, it does. So
I love the
that
story
was
of Grandpa like introducing the kids to the blackjack mechanism, like getting them hooked on that feeling.
Little gambling.
Let me teach you how to count some cards,
Get him in that
kid.
casino.
like you said, man, those dopamine hits, you got to get them early, So their dad already got them on gambling with the whole buying boxes of Pokemon, trying to get the, the ultra rare cards and stuff. So anyway, so that was the one in person that I played. And then Rob, Carlos, and Wayne, we were in a game of Hadrian's Wall on BGA. And that was really the only other game that I played in the past week or so.
I thought I was doing well in that game. I thought I was gonna win it pretty easily.
Yeah,
And then I
Not
turned
sure
around
I
and
was
Mike cleaned
in
the
that
house
game.
with us.
Did you lose that game too?
I did. Yeah, Mike.
Wow.
I was like, Mike's obviously played that game a few times. So
Oh man, it's been forever since I played. Probably since I lived in Florida was the last time I played.
Wow, you got beat by a guy that hasn't played in a long time.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was
Rub
just
it
like
in.
I even said in our group chat, like in the middle of the game, I was like, man, I forgot how good this game is
It's
because I
good.
just love combo-rific games, and that
I need a tutorial. Like we need to play that game live
Yeah.
on BGA.
We should do it.
You like teach us because
Yeah.
I was literally just clicking.
I played 6 or 7
Oh,
times.
this is
now.
highlighted. Let me click that. Let me click that.
I've played 6 or 7 times. I've still never ever trained a gladiator. I've just
Neither
completely
have I.
ignored that little section of the board there.
I've done it once and he died in his first battle. I've never done it again. But I will say Wayne had the best GIF in our like chat, our little chat we have, where it was the scene from Elf where Will Ferrell walks into the elevator and like pushes every button, and I felt that like in my soul, like I'm only getting like a couple clicks here and there, and I'm watching Mike like just
Going for days.
comboing this to get some of these, to grab some of that. But I think Wayne's intent was also just kind of smashing buttons. Like that's the other feeling I got out of it. Like I'm just kind of pushing buttons to see what happens. But it was great.
Yeah, the little things highlighted you can click. I just kept clicking them.
There were some times where I was sitting there for and I guess it's kind of good that we weren't playing in person.
Oh, me too.
In real time, because there was a couple of turns where I was sitting there for about 10 or 15 minutes thinking to myself, I just need one more yellow guy. I just need one more yellow guy.
Me too. How do you squeeze one out?
And I'm like, how the hell am I going to get this
where
one?
Where can I go? Where can I go to get one more yellow guy? No?
There were so many things I was trying. I was like, okay, well, if I do that, and then I'm counting. Okay, so then that's going to leave me with 2 bricks. But then I need 1 brick left over to do this. And and then there was like one turn, because you can only go back. Like, you can only say undo once.
One time. Yep.
And there was one thing where I was just like, if I would have just, thought about this a little bit more, I could have gone so much more on this turn.
I did exactly the same thing.
Taking me so long on some of those turns. But man, I just love those combo type games, man. That's like becoming higher up on my list of mechanisms that I really enjoy in games. So
not Three Sisters. Too many combos in Three Sisters.
Oh, not for me, man.
No, for me, it was a lot of combos.
I will say though, playing Hadrian's Wall and BGA, it helps prevent you from cheating by accident, because sometimes you'll think, oh, I got to check this off. Oh, did I check that off? And you kind of don't remember sometimes. Yeah. But with things only being highlighted, what you can actually do, that definitely it helps in that regard.
Yep.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
One other game I want to add that I forgot. It's kind of a game adjacent. Can I throw it on here? Me and Emmy have been with the family have been playing. I can't add it. All right, I'm done.
All right, everybody.
you did 5 minutes.
Go ahead.
We've been playing my 5 minutes are gone. I'm going to take the extra minute that Mike had left over, so he's going to cede his minute to me. Anyway, I'll make it quick. We've been playing the Exit series Advent calendar. I think I mentioned on the last show that they've had these the last, I think it's 3 or 4 years. They've been putting them out. Now they've got, I think for the first year, and I could be wrong, maybe it happened in the past, that they've got different levels. So we got the beginner one because it was our first one. And man, this beginner one is kicking our butts a little bit. I mean, it makes me feel a little stupid. Yeah. Or she's going to say something, so that's why I'm stopping here, because she keeps puckering her face. Go ahead, say it. What did you say?
All I was going to say is that it's not even that it's hard or anything. It's just that our family, when it comes to playing these games, have never been we're like, okay, you're giving us this, and that's what we're working with, but there is so much, you have to do this, and you have to do that. And, one of the things is, I won't get, too far into the details, but, you have to look at the box, the bottom of the box, and the sides. So it's, a big box that it comes in, and then you have to look at, the actual box itself, but it's so big, and you have to move it around, and then you have to close it to flip it upside down, and then you have to turn it back over and reopen it.
Right. So a little bit of background. So that each day you read a little one page. It's usually 2 little paragraphs about the next step in the story, and then there's a little advent door on the box that you open, and then there's something in there. They've done some cool things. I won't spoil anything, but there's been a few things in there that were like, oh, okay, that's neat. I didn't think they'd put that in there. But most of them are cards. You just pick out cards, and they're puzzles. They're little puzzles. I had always heard that these little 5-minute puzzles that you're supposed to crack in 5 minutes usually. Some of them are a little easier, some are a little harder. I mean, some of these we've been the whole family has been there working on them for 30, 40 minutes, and then we're finally having to, all right, grab that hint book, because there's a hint book that if you can't figure it out, there's 3 levels of hints. There's an easy one, and then a middle one, and then the resolution one. So it's so what Emmy's talking about, though, is usually you would kind of assume that whatever's in that little box, whatever's in that little door when I open it, that's what I need to solve this puzzle. But I know I'm going over a minute, but you actually have to physically look at the box. There's times where you have to pick it up. You've got to look at the barcode on the box, and there's nothing that tells you, hey, go look at the barcode. But you just gotta use everything at your disposal. And so it feels a little cheap in some reason. I see Dan making a little bit of a face there. It feels cheap in some ways, that it's like, hold on, there's nothing that told us we needed to pick up the box and look at the barcode and hold it up against this card to see where things line up. And so it feels a little cheap sometimes. All right, Dan wants to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say 2 things. First thing, you really are expecting the game to somewhere on to say, hey, dude, pick up the box and look at the barcode.
Not explicitly, but give you some kind of hint that you're supposed to do that. I don't know.
Okay, and the second thing is, phone lines are open.
Oh yeah, call.
And we need someone to call in because I'm not going to let it go.
Yeah.
During the Hadrian's Wall discussion, Rob said, you just have to squeeze out one more yellow guy.
Yeah, squeeze them out.
And
Squeeze them
I
out.
need someone to call in and talk to him about that.
All right. Well.
Okay, but going back to the exit game, I mean, again, it's not like I don't want to be like explicitly told you need to look at the box, but it's one of those things where when you're playing it and it's like it's like look around. Look around where? Look around at what? And there are some things that you have to have some previous knowledge of, like pop culture knowledge, to do some of it. And there are some things that I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I know this. But like Ian, who hasn't seen this
12-year-old, yeah.
doesn't know anything about this.
Yeah,
Like,
the
he has
one we're
no
doing
clue.
now, you're going through movie sets for different movies. We've done, well, I probably shouldn't say because it's a little spoiler, even though it
Okay,
doesn't spoil any
I'll
of
just
them,
say this. If you want spoilers, my man, Daniel the Paladin, over at the Christian Adventure Gamer YouTube
There
channel,
you go.
has been going through his
Day by day.
exit adventure calendar day by day. And yes, some of those videos are like 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it'd be like quickly, 5-minute things you can do, but they are pretty long. So if you want spoilers, check out my man, Daniel the Paladin, Christian Adventure Gamer.
Yeah. And Tom Vassel's the one who led me on to, I don't know, maybe his family's just into puzzles, but he's like, oh, yeah, there's little 5-minute puzzles,
You can't judge your family against that family.
Yes, maybe some of them will take 6 or 7 minutes, and so I got it thinking that's what we were getting into, but no, it's some of them are tough.
But I do also have to add on to that. There are some puzzles that we haven't gotten because we've been sitting there overthinking it. And like you read it or you get a clue and you're like, well, that was stupid. Like there are some that are just, you don't get it because you're overthinking it. You're like, okay, this last one.
But you
was this
children are
hard.
never known for overthinking
No,
things.
no,
No.
overanalyzing or no. Yeah,
But-
so.
So you have like that aspect that some of them are just like, it literally is that you're thinking too hard about it. But then you have others that you're like, you can't figure it out. And like we've been behind. So we've been trying to catch up and do some days,
A couple.
every day. And like one of the ones we did today, we didn't get the answer how we were supposed to get the answer.
Yeah, we backed into it.
stumbled into the answer. Like literally, we were like, okay, yeah, this answer, it makes sense because this, and this. And then we checked the solution and it was like, there was a completely different way you were supposed to get to those numbers. And we have no idea how we got the numbers two completely separate ways.
Have you ever done a real escape room?
Yes.
And that happens in escape rooms, or you like accidentally find a clue you weren't supposed to find yet,
Yeah.
and you then backward engineer your way out of it.
Yeah, it
it happens.
Yeah, it happens. That's just the nature of the beast. So, but they're fun. So, just a quick word on it. I would recommend it if you're interested in anything puzzly and you want something to do around the holidays. They've got about 6 or 7 or 8 different ones out now, and they've got them at different levels: beginner, medium, and advanced. I would say if you're not a big puzzle person, start with the beginner. But yeah, I can't imagine what medium or advanced would be like. But yeah,
Just a quick word on it.
Yep.
3 hours later.
yeah.
Wait, can I say one more thing about it real quick?
I guess.
No.
Yeah.
Shh. The one last thing is
She gave him
that
the hand.
one thing you have to pay attention to is when you're moving the box, you have to be really careful because
Oh, yeah.
the front page of it is not attached to the actual box. So we are having times where we're moving the box and there are cards
Some of the
falling.
stuff sliding from one area to another. That
So you
shouldn't
just
be,
have
but,
to be
yeah,
very
it's-
careful when you're using
the
it.
compartments aren't sealed exactly.
Yeah.
No, they're not individually sealed. So
That could
like,
really goof up your
We'll
clues.
We'll
could-
like be
when you-
moving it around and a card will just fall past it. We'll be like, wonder where that card was
when you do the
supposed
thing,
to
though,
be.
it tells you each story that you read at the very bottom. It tells you to open the door, and it will have C1, C2, and C3 in it. And so then if they were to slide around, you can look and say, all right, I'm supposed to
Okay.
have these. But yeah.
But if you lose one and it slides around and you go to open it and you're like, okay, we're missing this card, you have no clue where that card's
Is that
at.
someone calling
Got
in?
a caller.
All right, talk about Rob.
Beans and Dice podcast. State your name and where you're calling from.
Hey guys, it's Chris. We're calling from Texas. How y'all doing?
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hello,
Thank you,
Chris.
Chris.
Welcome to the
How you
show.
Thank you. Can y'all hear me okay? It sounds a little funny on my end, so it might be my reception. What do y'all? Does it sound okay, or does it sound kind of funny?
Got a little
You're
bit of
good.
an echo.
It's a little bit of an echo, but you're good.
A little bit of an echo. Okay. All right. Cool.
I think it's fine.
Just calling in to see how you guys are doing, and been up to. I heard some of the things in the beginning of the program, and going to call in with a couple games I played this week as well. So, yeah.
Go for it. We're going through our recent play segment right now. So, what did Rob call it? This Week in Gaming.
This Week in Gaming.
So, Chris, you want to give us This Week in Gaming out of Texas?
That's Twig.
In gaming. Okay, so first off is, last Saturday I did finally get a chance to play Lord of the Rings, Duel for Middle-earth.
Thoughts?
I thoroughly enjoyed.
My man.
Yeah, very good. 2-player. I love it seems like there's always good stuff. You're just getting good stuff all the time. It's like, well, do I need this good thing right now, or do I want to wait on this one and let the other person get that? And so I just like that back and forth. And then it's also kind of nice that a lot of the cards in the first age don't have a gold cost.
Mm-hmm.
So you're able to pick up a lot of stuff for free. I kind of felt that was weird. I mean, I know you're not maybe getting as much money in this one, because if you sell, if you don't pick a card, you only get like 1 coin in the first age, but a lot of it's just free in the first age. And I was like kind of surprised by that. I was like, oh, this is nice. I get this card for free. Just take it and it's mine. So
Yeah.
that was kind of cool too.
Kind of themey,
So
though.
that's a good ramp.
As I played more of it, like if you really think
Yeah.
about the theme behind it, you're gaining skills. You're gaining your skills. So you're going on these like little adventures that aren't expensive. They're not huge adventures, but they're little adventures. You get a little courage, you get a little leadership. You know, you learn a little bit about ruse, right? You pick up these skills in the first age, and then in the second age, all right, you want to get better? Pony up. Let's get some money. Let's go on an excursion or go on a real adventure to get real skills to prepare for third age, which is like the battle.
That's true. Yeah, that's thematic.
And so you're obviously familiar with the game it's based off of. Just jumped up out of my head.
Seven Wonders.
Seven Wonders Duel. And so, what are your thoughts of the comparisons between the two?
I like the map a lot. I never enjoyed the military, track on the original. Just the back and forth. I don't know. I just never enjoyed it.
That tug of war, yeah.
So this to me feels more fun and more thematic. Just having the map where you're just populating with troops or fortresses. I like that better. So just that alone makes me like it better.
Okay.
And then I like the theme better. Obviously, Vincent Dutray's artwork doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
The insert, goodness gracious, for a $30 game, that insert is amazing. Everything fits in perfectly.
I don't know if he's being facetious.
No, I actually liked it. Did you not like the insert?
Disagrees.
I'll give you my thoughts on the insert. Number one, it's made of like an egg carton cardboard. So Dan's busting it out here. Number two, I do sleeve. I am a sleever. So like I can't get the cards exactly back in, right? Because they're sleeved. They're mostly still in there.
Carlos, that's a lie. You don't sleeve.
That's
not with these
well,
5
keep
kids.
going,
I
Carlos.
don't.
I'll have a rebuttal to the sleeve thing. I have a rebuttal for that. But keep going.
And then finally, the biggest issue I have with it, because of its design, because it's made of compressed paper, right? So like pressed paper, it doesn't have edges, a perimeter of edges. And because it doesn't have a perimeter of edges, it kind of like floats around like in the box. I don't know. That's the solo mode printout cards that I did. Print and play solo mode. So Dan, you see how there's like a cardboard support system inside that's supposed to hold the oh yeah, let me
Flip
show
the camera over there. So,
flip the camera, Dan. So it's like a cardboard like a rectangle inside the box. It's supposed to support this egg carton material cardboardy insert, but it just kind of floats around in there. Like it's not. The plastic ones will sit in and like you see it, Dan. You see the wiggle. It drives me nuts. What about you, Chris? What do you think of the insert?
We already know that.
Okay, well, first off, the sleeve thing. I did sleeve my game. I had gotten the sleeves before I got the game, and they're snug fit. I mean, I didn't get sleeves that have a lot of extra on the sides, but I was able to fit all the cards in perfectly because there's 3 spots, for each age. You can put the cards, and I had them all sleeved, and they fit in perfectly. So maybe it's just the sleeves you're using, like the microns. How thick they are, or how much they have around the edge.
No, these are
So I might need
these
to
are
tell
thick.
you which sleeves I got.
These are thick with 2 C's, like oatmeal thick.
Okay.
I just want to say
maybe I'll
the
Go ahead.
person complaining about the insert is the guy that just dumps crap in a box when he's cleaning up. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
So
I think
take a look at the source.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
Dan's
as a-
showing it right now.
Well, you got
There's
extra card
There's
stuff in the
something
bottom.
called
Yeah.
lid lift.
You got extra cards in the bottom. so
This
you
is
can't
lid
even,
rock.
That is
No,
clearly not
You
put
got to
back
take those
right.
cards out of there. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But also, I think that, like, I'll say this though, that compressed cardboard insert type thing, that eggshell or egg carton
The
type thing,
eco-friendly, yeah.
it's becoming. I've heard about 4 or 5 other games recently that have that similar material as an insert. So I think that is going to be a more prevalent insert material going forward.
The biodegradable, eco-friendly, yeah.
I mean, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Wayne. I thought you were done.
You're good, Dan. Go ahead.
No, it's just going to make a smart ass comment, so go ahead.
No,
What
we'll
else
wait, Dan.
new?
We'll wait for you, Dan.
This is my
Well, I
shocking
mean-
base.
Why not just chuck that in the garbage and just put it in bags? Why?
Yeah,
why
you
even
don't
keep, why
need to
even
keep
the
the
insert?
insert.
Yeah.
I can't talk about it if I didn't keep it. Like I want to show how bad this is.
So you preemptively knew that he was going to call in and talk about the insert,
So you kept it?
so you kept it
For
ahead
example.
of time just in case that was going to happen.
No, I have not given this game the full beans yet. Until I give it the full beans and then talk trash on my own, like,
Oh.
So the
Of
negative is
Beans.
going to
Yeah.
be the insert.
yes.
Okay.
During his negative, he was going to rip the insert up, kind of like.
I mean,
the-
we
the
got to
box
admit,
for,
me complaining about the insert is got to be better than Emmy and I complaining about a dial. Okay? Let's be honest.
that was some good content.
Those are pretty equal.
That was good content.
Yeah, that's equal.
Yeah. Sparked a lot of conversation.
Well, let's talk about the components outside of the insert.
Okay,
So,
let's do that.
It's a cheap insert. Don't get me wrong. It's not super nice, but I like everything fits in its place, so it's easy for setup and tear down. That's where it ends for me. I'm not like raving about like it's amazing, like trekking through history. Like that one's perfect. I love that insert.
Do we
There's
have
nothing
that
like
here?
that. I just like that everything has a place and I can pull it out, put it back in, and I'm not having to fiddle with a bunch of stuff to get it out. That's all I mean on the insert. So granted, I agree with you, Carlos, on that. But the actual cards, have you noticed that they're bigger than the original Seven Wonders Duel?
Yes, and I hope that's
Bigger
because
size?
of the artwork. Like, the artwork here deserves bigger cards.
Mm-hmm.
And they're good for
Yeah,
my ham hock
absolutely.
hands.
Yeah, absolutely. The other ones are tiny. I didn't like that about the original. Too small.
No way
I
you would
also
put
like that
Dutrade's
they
artwork
did
on
away
those
with the
tiny
science.
cards.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I also like they did away with the science thing. I didn't love that. I mean, I know in Seven Wonders it's fine, even though it's not my, you have to watch out for that strategy. But I like that they just did away with that. But then you get these cool benefits with the factions. And I like how if you get 2 of the same faction, you get a little bonus. If you get 3 different, you get a bonus. And I like that. And those are powerful abilities. And that's really cool too.
Was that not still a win condition? I can't remember. I've only played it the one time.
Yes.
Oh, it is still a win
If you
condition.
get all of them, yeah.
Okay.
I don't like disagreeing with Chris often, but I'll disagree with Chris on this one. I don't think it got rid of the science. I think it evolved it in a much better way. Where before the progress
Sure.
tokens, you would get one if you got 3 different science symbols, I believe, right?
2 of the same.
And then
Or-
you can trigger a win if you have 6 of the symbols.
Right.
Right. But the part that I didn't like as much as I like here is that the science was random. Right. Whatever progress you got, it was so random. You didn't know what progress token you
That's
got.
true.
Here you actually have control. Like, I'm going to choose to get 2 of the dwarves because I like the dwarves' ability. It plays into my style. Right. I love that extra added decision space of, all right, I'm going to get 3 of a kind and I'm going to make it human, elf, and hobbit because I want to decide from those 3. You know what I'm saying?
So I took out all the crap that Carlos had in the bottom of the box, and it still has a little bit of.
There's still a little bit of lift.
bit of rock. Yeah.
a little bit of rock and a little bit of lift. Okay.
It's not a lift. It's like a wobble.
It's a little bit. Yeah.
This paper is so thick, though. Like, I was sitting here with this
My
one
copy
page
paper?
thing. I was trying to pull it apart. I was like, where does it split? It's not. It's just one. I'm just.
Hey, Chris, check out the. I don't know if you do solos. I don't think I ever heard you really talk about solo games.
Only Marvel Champions. That's like the only solo I've done.
Okay, I was talking earlier about the Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle Earth solo variant that is on BGG. They used the Seven Wonders Duel as the base for it. Remember, they came out with the solo during COVID. repos posted it out there. So they kind of converted it to Lord of the Rings Duel. I found it to be a very difficult opponent. So if you want to challenge, if you really want to challenge, just print out some of those cards and the character, easy peasy.
Okay, great.
And you mentioned you had some other plays.
Yeah, so just in summary, at the Lord of the Rings Duel, I do think it's the best head-to-head two-player game I played this year, for me personally.
Nice.
So that's just my opinion, but I'm also very biased because I love Lord of the Rings, so the theme definitely plays into that.
Sure.
Okay, so the next one is, have y'all seen the new Daemont?
I have
You
not.
know, like the ink and gold / Daemont? Yep.
No, I have not seen
So
the
I
new
got
one yet.
that. I got that copy just recently, and my family loved it. So I can play it with my 5-year-old too. And so it plays with everybody. It plays up to 8 players. It's 3 to 8 players, and the artwork's fantastic. And the components are really nice. And so I enjoyed it. But I did have to get it shipped from the UK, but it's on Amazon. So it's from, I think, Yellow. I believe it's Yellow.
Sounds right.
But if you go onto Amazon, they'll ship it, and it's free shipping if you have Prime. So you can get the game for, $30 or whatever. I think it's $30, and you get free shipping. So, but you can't get it anywhere else, I think. It's the only place I could find it that you didn't have to go to some third-party, place in Europe or something.
Nice.
But have you guys played, Ink and Gold, Daemont? I'm sure you're familiar with it, obviously.
I played Ink and Gold
been
a
around
couple
long time.
times. Yeah, I played Ink and Gold a couple times. I like it. It's a fun game. Yeah.
Yeah, push your luck. How far you want to risk it? I always risk it too far.
Yeah.
I do horrible in that game every time because I'm always like, hit it again.
Well, great plays, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, on my last round of the game, too, my wife, she was the only person who stuck around, and she got 4 or 5 tiles by herself without anybody there. And, most of those, all but one was gems. So she banked at the end and had a whole bunch of points. And everybody else bailed. So I was like, well played, well played.
Nice.
Well, Chris, for the second week in a row, you have made this a call-in show. Without you, it would just be a bunch of blathering.
I've got a question for Chris real quick.
Yeah.
So, Chris, your games that have a dial with numbers on them, do you grab the
preference?
top of the dial and turn it clockwise or counterclockwise, or do you grab the bottom of the dial and turn it clockwise or counterclockwise?
Go grab a dial real quick and give it a shot.
Yeah. Do I grab it? I grab it from the bottom, and then I'll grab it with my left hand, and then I turn it with my right hand on the top with my index finger.
And which way do you turn it to go up numbers?
To go up numbers, I think I normally do clockwise. I'm thinking of a circular dial.
Right answer. That's the right
That's
answer.
all I wanted to hear, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's the right answer.
yeah. I mean, it feels weird because I'm answering this question. I'm sure you're giving somebody a hard time about this. Yeah,
That's
how I remember doing it.
Yeah, you missed the beginning of the show, so if you go back and listen, you'll hear a
Go back and watch the beginning of the show.
I will say, Chad Stilson, who does design work, agrees with me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for nothing, Chris.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I was being honest. I really was, because I knew it was a trick question like that. Pretty sure that's how I do it.
Call in anytime, buddy. Call in anytime.
Always welcome back.
And I've got one more thing to say before I let you guys go. I know it's getting late. So I did play Finca on BGA. I talked about that last week, as you guys once told me about it.
I haven't played it yet, but yeah.
Played it 5 times now.
Oh, wow.
And it is a very good implementation. I think it's still in beta, too, and it's great. I mean, the implementation is super clean.
Nice.
Which game is this?
Finca?
Finca.
F-I-N-C-A? Finca?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes, Finca. Yeah.
I've never played. Has anybody else here ever played Finca? No? I haven't played it.
No.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to somebody starting a game of it on BGA so I can jump in. But yeah,
If only you can't start it, Rob.
I'm
He
currently
just doesn't
not,
want to.
Yeah, currently not a paying member, so somebody
Still?
I am on and off, so I go a month on, I go a month off, a month on, a month
Dude,
off.
it's like
so.
$36 a year.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Listen, y'all, just donate some money to the Beans and
Well, I'll
Dice.
play a
push-
game with you sometime if you want, Rob.
Yeah,
I can
Emmy,
play a game with you.
Yeah, start one up. I'll jump in.
Can we get
If
like
you're looking for a Christmas present for your dad, $36.
$36
Cheapest
for a year of
investment you can
BGA.
go in for a year of BGA.
come on,
Buy
guys,
him a
rack,
year
rack
of
up those
BGA.
rack up
Something
those
tells me
super
Rob
chats. Let's get
is
$36 worth here for Rob, so he can get on BGA for God's sake.
I don't know if I want that kind of commitment, but
I think Rob would take a $36 gift card to Taco Bell over. a subscription.
absolutely.
He would spend $36 at Taco Bell before he'd buy a yearly membership.
Probably.
Thank you for calling, homie. Much appreciated.
Appreciate it, Chris.
Yeah, y'all have a great night.
You too.
Good night.
Thanks. Bye.
See ya.
Oh, that was
See,
great.
Chris knows what he's talking about.
Absolutely.
With the dials.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
knows how to turn
Finca
it
is
down.
Finca is not a premium game, so Rob, you can actually start.
I can start
your own.
one. Oh, good. Okay. I
Sweet.
just assumed with it being brand new that it would be premium, but
You
no.
know, you're just lazy. You don't want to start shit.
Oh, no, I started a
You
bunch
know,
of games not
I
too long
think
ago.
Dan hit it nail on the head. If he gets the premium, then he has the ability to,
Yeah.
and then sometimes the responsibility to set up games.
No, I'd start games all the time. I was upset that as a non-premium, you can only start, even the non-premium games, I can only do 5 at a time. I can never have more games that I started than 5.
Oh,
Quit-
geez.
They cap you at
quit
5.
being so cheap.
Well,
Just get a membership.
sorry, I got a rent to play, mortgage to pay.
I'll buy it for you.
Yeah, you got it. All right.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
All right, in the chat, we've got my man Chester Wilson asking about Cape May.
Oh, Carlos hates that game.
Yes, he does. Yes,
I
he
remember him
does. Yeah.
bitching the whole time he played.
He does. Not
That's
a
the
fan.
only time I played. That's the memory I have of it, is him just complaining the entire game.
It wasn't nearly that bad.
I wasn't going to couch it that bad, but now that you say it, I do remember that.
It is seared into my memory. You just, every turn, like, oh, it's my turn. I guess I'll just do a thing. And oh, look at
That was
that.
at, we played that at Boco, I think, wasn't it? Over in Louisiana.
We did.
Yeah, that
In
was
Fayetteville.
Oh, yeah.
I've not.
Carlos was angry the entire game.
Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah.
At
Sorry,
the-
Wayne. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I see that game came out like with a big bang and all the hype, and then pretty quickly died off. People saying that it was a good game with decent production value, but just didn't have enough depth to really keep you coming back to it. That seems to be what I remember.
Yeah,
I agree.
It was very pretty. It was very pretty. The mechanisms were pretty basic. I mean, it didn't do
Kind of like New York
anything.
1901 almost, right? But
No.
Yeah. No. Carlos will tell you no.
no.
It was
I'm
the
not
damn.
saying
It was the
similar,
birds. It was the birds. No, but at the end of the day,
On the cards.
to my man Chester in the chat, Cape May. Yes, we've played it. I don't recall anyone walking away loving it.
No.
Did anyone walk away? No,
it was
Dan's
forgettable.
confirming.
No,
it was,
no.
Yeah, it was forgettable.
And it's a $45, $50 game online. It's a $25 mechanisms worth of game,
Yeah.
and the $50 price point, pushing it up that high, is just all the damn plastic and
pieces,
miniatures
yeah.
in it. Yeah.
Yep.
It was beautiful. It was
Nice
a beautiful
production.
game.
Looked nice on the
it
and
looks
I was
nice on the
highly
table.
excited to play it.
It's one you want to walk by and go, oh, that looks nice, and just keep walking.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not. It was nothing exciting in the gameplay. Yeah. I didn't hate it as much as he did, but it was okay.
I feel like I got burned. Like period. I don't know. The
Carlos hated that game as much as I hated playing. What was the one we played?
Oh,
Rise and Fall.
No. The big the one we played with
Darwin something?
Darwin's Journey.
Darwin's Journey.
Yeah,
at,
he hated that as much
Dice
as I
Tower.
hated Darwin's
probably,
Journey. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, those memories are coming back.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yes.
You like it
I think I
more?
had to go eat some boudin balls to make myself feel
Whoa,
better.
whoa, what?
No, it's after dark. It's okay.
It's Louisiana food.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Boudin.
Boudin.
Did you like it more or less than Way of the Panda?
Oh man, that was rough. There are some bad games out there.
Were you there when he was playing Cape May?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
Were
played
you
with
there
him.
when he was playing Way of the Panda?
Oh yeah.
So which one do you think he hated more?
Oh. Man, he complained about Way of the Panda a lot.
I wasn't there for that one, so I
That
don't
was
know.
an ongoing
It
joke
was
for
a
a
lot.
while. Actually.
Yes. It might be Way of the Panda, believe it or not.
Wow, I might have to check this game out
Okay,
to see what made him
Way
so
of the
angry.
Panda has this mechanism. This
We're going back to it again. All right, come on.
You know what? I told my psychiatrist I would let it go.
Show me on
I'm
this
gonna
board
let it
where
go.
Way of the Panda that hurt you.
This is exposure therapy. Go ahead, tell us about it. Where did it hurt
Go ahead,
you?
recap it.
It was a CMON game, and you had to select your action on this board, but you could only go down or to the right.
Right.
On this math like table. but you could never go left and up. So your options kept decreasing, and they were never good options. And then I'm watching someone like Rob over here take a beautiful path down this board, hitting like every column and row,
bonuses, combo, and stuff.
right? And I'm just like starting in the top left, and I'm like, you know what, bottom right. That's it. I took that action. I paused.
So
way to Pando's worst.
Yeah, that sounds awful. Yeah,
It was. All right, let's get to the next segment here. We talked Twig, I think is what Dan called
This Week in Gaming.
This Week in Gaming. I like that. I think we're going to use that from here forward as a segment.
Twigs.
And then Dan also came up with this one earlier in the show. He and I were talking.
Oh, the OGG.
We're going to do what?
OGG.
We're going to hit the OGG. It's time for the OGG. Welcome to the OGG, the other geeky goodness. This is our chance to talk about all the stuff that we enjoy outside of gaming.
Oh man,
Mike's already ready.
Is Mike
He's
prepped?
already
Mike's prepped and ready?
Mike start. He's already
Mike
ready
was
to
like
go.
he has to get up and go to the bathroom. He's so excited.
What you got, Mike? What you got?
that new Superman trailer.
Oh,
I was hoping
I saw
Ron
it.
was going to
Oh,
call it in tonight.
I happened to
man, so
click
we
on
could
that right
talk
before I
about
came
it.
here.
It,
Okay.
it looks good.
Oh man, I'm so
a lot
psyched
of
for this
character
movie.
cameos in that.
Yeah.
So
psyched
since
for
Mike brought it up, what are you super excited about? What did you see in the
Super
trailer?
excited.
Intended.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. This is not a joke this time. What seriously? What did you see in it that made you like, yeah, I got to see this movie?
All right, so I mean, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, I mean, just go out and watch it. But the fact, I mean, it opens up with Superman basically getting his butt handed to him.
Bloody.
He falls to Earth, probably, like where the Fortress of Solitude is, probably somewhere around there. And he's bloody, and he looks like he just got taken to the cleaners. It just shows that Superman has had this issue, like in the comic books, like over time, he just got so powerful, he became boring because there was just nobody that could beat him, and they had to come up with these ridiculous magic. He was like, he couldn't understand magic, and that would trick him, and all that. But the fact that they're making him susceptible to being beaten, I think that's going to play into this whole movie. Like, they're starting with that, and he's going to be like this beacon of hope. Like, even after he gets his ass handed to him, he can still, I'm thinking this is what's going to happen, is that he can still come back at the end of the movie and be that beacon of hope for everybody, like us humans or whatever.
Well, he had that super dog thing to drag him
They
home.
got crypto in it, which was like,
So I saw the trailer and
Yeah.
it just popped up and I watched it and I was watching it, so I was like, okay, whatever, it looks like a new Superman movie. But when the dog showed up,
Oh yeah, the super dog crypto.
I'm on board now. I want to see this damn movie.
hell yeah, dude.
I think what got me is the brightness of it after the darkness of
Yep.
the
They're
the
totally
murder
changing
the murderverse, right? And all the cameos, like if you watched like all the DC comic cartoons or read the comics, there was tons of like ancillary and secondary characters in there, and it's sort of almost like a throwback to that like golden age comics, or what's the Kingdom Come artist, I think it's Alan Moore.
Well,
maybe,
that's
or-
the other thing, Alex Ross. If
yeah,
you
Alex Ross.
notice,
Alex Ross. Yeah, it's very Alex
if
Ross.
you look at the S on Superman's chest, that is the S that they used in Kingdom Come.
right.
So it's like there's like different styles of the S, but that particular S is like
Yeah, it's very Alex Ross.
from that graphic novel.
We're going deep
So-
down the geek hole there.
Well, we're down with OGG.
I guess so.
Are you down with OGG, Rob?
It was very exciting.
I'm finding out right now.
Yeah, so I'm very excited for that one.
No, I think what Wayne said is right, though. That it's nice to see that all of those superhero movies are getting out of that just dark, depressing, everybody's dying. Not that that's bad in movies, but I think going the other way now, more of the bright comic book style stuff is probably going to be the trend, and I like that too.
Well, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Hope.
Yeah.
Or hope.
Yeah.
Sweet.
that
What's
was my
other
big thing for
other geeky goodness? Yeah, Mike was oozing to talk about that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was vibrating
It's all
in his
excited.
chair. Did you see
Whoa,
that?
first, let me go.
And I was just saying earlier today, like how Mike is so chill. Like there's usually not much emotion.
You got
I was showing Dan the short I made of when you got ticked off when Ralph Raph beat you in Unfair.
Oh yeah.
We were just going back to some episodes. I'm like, look how hyped Mike is here. Look how angry he is. But he's so chill. So we got to see today, Dan and I got to see the highs and the lows of Mike.
Yeah, there you go.
Very mellow. In the OGG for me, and the other geeky goodness is going to be Star Wars Skeleton Crew.
Oh, did you
Anybody
start
watch
it?
that yet?
I haven't watched it yet.
So my holiday break starts tomorrow.
I keep
My
hearing
kids
it's
are gonna
good.
start Watching it.
I think they're 4 episodes deep now.
Yeah.
It's on Disney Plus. It is set in the Star Wars universe, and it is kids. It's kids focus. Kids are the focus. So the main characters in this show, and Emmy, I've been waiting to tell you about this. Space pirates.
Space pirates.
Lots of space pirates. So if I told you the game had space pirates in, would you be interested?
Yes.
Okay, space pirates are a go. The feelings that I'm watching it with my 13-year-old son, and I'll tell you right now, I did not expect to. I had no expectations for the game. Period. I had none. Zip zilch nada.
Show.
After the show, after the last series of shows from Disney Plus, really kind of were less than enthralling. I went to the Army Navy store next door, the military surplus store, and one of the gamers there, I think he used to be a part owner of Armada Games. He was out there, and I think we talked for like 20 minutes about him watching these 3 episodes of Skeleton Crew, and then we went into all this like deep Star Wars, canon and theory on who these characters are and how they're connected and when will Ahsoka show up, all this fun stuff. So I was like, okay, I got to watch this. So I came back and watched it with the boy, and I have not regretted it. I get the feels of being a kid and growing up in the 80s and early 90s, enjoying movies like The Goonies, The Explorers, Navigator. I remember the Explorers movie where the kids kind of built their own spaceship out of like trash cans and crap, and then the Navigator, those kinds of fun adventure movies that you're watching a set of kids go out on an adventure. What's the Will Wheaton one? Even the railroad track, Stand By Me.
Oh, there you go.
That kind of like camaraderie, work together, take care of each other, go on an adventure feel is being done so well right now in this series. Skeleton Crew, Disney Plus, recommend.
Yeah, it's gotten good reviews. I know on IMDb, it had a really high rating, and so on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it released in Europe a little before it came out here, a week or two before here, and they were talking about how it was setting records in Europe for the ratings. So yeah, it's supposed to be really good.
And there really wasn't a lot of pre-announcement or advertising. Like like all the other shows, I couldn't stop seeing ads for them.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything that told. I was 3 episodes behind before I realized it had even come out.
Well, I know Disney is pulling back on all that. They've announced they've actually canceled, I think, 2 upcoming Star Wars series because of the oversaturation. There's been a lot of complaints recently that people are oversaturated with the Star Wars universe, and that's why their last couple series haven't done so well. Yeah, Dan agrees. So, but yeah, they've announced that they are pulling back on it. So maybe that's why they didn't advertise it real hard. They're trying to make it a little more low key because it's just been in our face for so much the last couple of years, I think.
That's what I got for other geeky goodness. Anybody else? Other geeky goodness.
Finished the Day of the Jackal on is it on Peacock? Great show, fantastic.
What's that about?
The Jackal is Eddie Redmayne is a former SAS operator who's turned into an assassin. And if you saw there's a Bruce Willis movie called The Jackal. I don't know, 15.
Yeah,
I remember that.
That was a remake of a movie too.
Yeah, so this is more of a remake of the original series, the original movie. So so it's definitely a departure from the Bruce Willis version, but it's good. Eddie Redmayne plays the Jackal, and I forget the name of the woman she's been in a million things lately too. She's works for MI5 and she's trying to track him down, and it's this cat and mouse game of he's trying to assassinate a bunch of powerful rich people type thing, and she's trying to catch him.
Board for that.
Yeah, it's a good and the last episode is really good. So, and then the other one that I hate watching episodes, like you have to wait a week for the next episode, but Silo.
Oh, new
on
episode
Apple
drop
TV.
Tonight.
I know. As soon as I get done here, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So good.
Tell me about that one too. I don't know what that is.
Silo is it's based on books called Silo. I think the first book is Silo. There are 10,000 people living in a silo underground. It's post-apocalyptic.
I'm
and
on board. Yeah.
there's all these levels. There's the mechanical at the bottom, so it's kind of like class warfare. You have the mechanical and engineering and IT and whatever. And if you
Sounds
go
like a
outs-
vertical Snowpiercer.
Sounds like
Kinda,
my
kinda-
job.
kind of vertical Snowpiercer, yeah. But if you go outside, you die. But if you ask to go outside, they'll let you go outside. You get to clean
It's not that they let you.
Yeah, they make you.
must go outside.
You must go outside if you say I want to go outside.
What
And
service is that on?
Apple TV, and yeah, it's really really good. Great characters. It's in its second season, and it's
And they've
really
approved
good.
season 3 and 4 already.
3 and 4, yeah, and that they've said season 3 and
4
4,
will
and the show will be
last.
done. So it'll be
Yeah.
4 seasons, and it'll be done. So really, actually, Apple. There's so many things on Apple TV I could recommend, but yeah, Silo is really good right now.
Yeah.
And Day of the Jackal. Those are the 2 I've binged in last week. So.
Is the Day of the Jackal a limited series, or is it something that's going to be continuous?
It is going to continue. There will be a second season, I believe. So I don't want to. Yeah.
Because I'm really getting burnt out on getting hooked on shows. Then the whatever service it's on, it's like, you know what? We're just not going to renew that, and you just get to not see the resolution to anything.
Yeah, it ends perfectly fine. So if they don't continue it, it'll be fine. You can watch it in just one season and be fine. But they are saying that it has been so successful that they do plan on continuing it. So,
all right,
nice. Emmy and I are still trying to finish the Expanse. That's one we've been working on for a little while now. So, with her away at college, it's been a little harder. We had talked about watching it at college, me watching it at home, and then talking about them afterwards. But that just didn't happen. So now that she's home for break, we jumped back into that. So we've watched 3 or 4 episodes here the last 3 or 4 days during my lunch breaks. We usually grab something real quick and then sit down and watch. And it is good. We got 2 episodes left in season 4. And then there's, I think, was it 10 in season 5, and then season 6 was just 6 episodes. So we're about, what did we say, 18 episodes away from finishing that. So we're gonna try to finish that before she goes back. But it's good. It keeps finding a new little twist in there, as good shows do, to keep you hooked. So each season,
the single greatest visual of space combat.
Yeah,
and what it would be really like if we had better technology, but not really that much better technology than today, and what combat in space would look like. It's phenomenal.
Yeah,
I like the way that they filmed Battlestar Galactica. Like when they used to do those battle scenes, it was almost like live camera. I mean, I know it was CGI, obviously, but the camera would shake around, as the ships were going by. And I haven't watched The Expanse yet. It's definitely on my list of things to watch. But
I'd say watch
it. Is it just a different style of?
Well, it's just like the practical effects. So like if you're in a spaceship and you're firing a bullet at another spaceship, it's going to pierce the outer hull.
Right.
And so like they all wear their own individual suits because they know that the ship's going to get depressurized. So it's like that. Cool. It's very like you could like, it's almost like I feel like the assistants, there was definitely some scientists who were like, well, it makes no sense to be in a spaceship without a spacesuit on because the hull is going to get punctured, and like rail guns, and like you can't really do like projectiles in space type stuff.
Right. So it's more the approach, not necessarily the cinematography of it.
But that too. I mean, that too is pretty good, but the scientific approach of it seems pretty cool.
Yeah, I think Wayne said in the past that Neil deGrasse Tyson has said that it's the most accurate as far as the physics of being in space and the way the ships move and just all the physics part of it. It's on point. It's the way it would really be. And just one little thing that I was actually when we were watching today, they have these magnetized boots because again they're all in space and stuff. So when they're walking around the ship, you're constantly hearing click clunk. Clunk, 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 clunk. I was thinking today, I was like, man, that noise is getting annoying now that I'm 4 seasons into it, just hearing that all the time. But then I thought about it, it immediately hit me. I was like, you know what? But that would be part of what they would have to deal with. I mean, if you're wearing those magnetized boots and you're in 0G all the time, I mean, that would be part of your everyday life. You'd hear that noise just constantly. So I was like, all right, it fits the, what's going on there. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Everybody on the ship wearing noise canceling headphones.
They should be. I guess they got used to it.
They definitely spent a good chunk of budget on scientific research and like what would it really be like. So it's good.
Yeah, like the belters, right? They work on the asteroid belts, mining and stuff, so they have no gravity, so their bodies have now changed.
Right.
And some of the torture that they would get from the Earthers would be like putting them in like
the inners.
They put them in like like in weighted environments
Yeah.
where they couldn't breathe because their bodies aren't used to having that much gravity on their lungs, and
Right.
like, man, like that's messed up.
Yeah. That's one of the main characters in season 4. She's been she's
Mars.
a belter.
Yeah, Belter and Mars, right?
Yeah, and she's been out of there all the whole time, and so now she's going to a planet, and she can't adjust to the gravity, and so she's having to take treatments, and then just all the stuff her body's going through.
Yeah, and then her body's rejecting the treatments, and like one of the things is that they were basically like, you cannot stay here any longer. If you stay here, you're going to die, because it's not even that, you're getting tired or anything. It's that her heart just couldn't take it.
Can't push her blood through her system
That's
because
cool.
she's been in she's grown up in 0G, and she doesn't know how to handle gravity and stuff. So yeah, it's cool. It's a lot of cool stuff. Yeah. But I don't think we finished up something. We finished The Witcher not too long ago. Me and the wife, and we've been watching Ghosts. That's a funny show that we've been watching on. Is that on the Peacock? I can't remember.
No.
It's on one of them. But anyway,
What's that about?
Ghosts. We like our comedies, but
It's crazy. It's about ghosts.
it's about ghosts. Yeah, no, it's about a
Shocking.
woman who falls down a flight of stairs, and so now she can see ghosts, and so she sees all these people, and it's funny, they've got all these different characters who have died throughout history that live in this mansion that she inherited from her grandmother, who died. But it's a comedy. It's a straight comedy. So they've got people that are radically different, all interacting
Different time periods and
different time periods and stuff. So there's a Viking guy, there's a proper British old lady in the house, there's Puritan shows up in a bunch of the shows and just kind of throws everything off. So it's really kind of funny. So she's the only one who can see him. So she's having to communicate what she's seeing and what's going on. And they do all kinds of things. There's a guy who has no pants because he died with no pants on. So he's walking around all the time. He's from the 1980s. He was a stockbroker on Wall Street. And so he's got a long shirt on that goes just far enough that you can't see anything. But
That's
it's
hilarious.
It's just funny him walking around all the time. So every now and then they'll do a thing where he starts to bend over and then they cut away to a different view. And all the ghosts are like, oh no, put some pants on or whatever. So it's just funny. But
Oh no, it definitely has that comedic effect where it's also they don't stray away from having some inappropriate jokes.
oh yeah, it's a
But-
little edgy, but it's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on the last episode of Yellowstone.
Oh, nice.
So this is supposed to wrap it up.
Heard it was a horrible ending to the
I got
series.
3 to
Oh,
go,
yeah.
so I got 3 to go. Don't spoil too much.
It's bugging me. It's like, man, Kevin Costner decided not to finish this up to go do what? Like, we haven't even, like,
Waterworld 2.
right. It might as well be Postman 2, right? Like, it just, and then it feels so accelerated. Just like
It is.
wrapping this up feels so accelerated.
pushing
So
it.
I'll probably finish that episode tonight with Wifey.
The guy who plays the one who's taking over the ranch, what's his name? With the son.
Cole
and,
Hauser
is that Cole
is
Hauser?
the actor's name, but I forget the character's name.
You're not talking about Rip, are you? Or are you talking
no,
about
no.
No.
his actual son?
His actual son.
Oh, is that,
What's the character?
Tate's dad. Oh, man.
Tate's dad, yeah. What's his name? I can't remember. Anyway, I saw an interview with him that he said that he said he wasn't pointing fingers at anybody, but this season 5, I think it's season 5, has by far been the most enjoyable season that the actors have had because of the lack of the tension and the constant arguing and fighting between the producer, what's his name?
Taylor Sheridan and Costner.
Yeah, exactly. Between Costner and Sheridan. So, they had Amy just pulled it up on IMDb.
Luke Griffins is the
Luke
actor.
Grimes.
Luke
Grimes. He's actually a country singer. He's a country artist.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. mhm.
Luke Grimes is the actor. He plays Casey.
Casey, that's it. Casey,
Dutton?
yeah, Casey Dutton. That's so. But he said in an interview that he wasn't going to point fingers at anybody, but he said it's been.
But he kind of did. Like,
Yeah, he said so enjoyable. Well, he didn't say which one was causing the
Yeah.
problems, but he said
I've
that the
heard-
fact that they're not
relaxed.
there, it's that this was. He said that this was the first season he had enjoyed being on set. So
From what I've read, though, it's really kind of both of them. Like Costner's
Yeah.
kind of just Costner. He's like a little arrogant, but also this Taylor Sheridan guy has really gotten way big for his britches.
he seems like
Yeah.
a piece of
He's
Yeah.
like
work.
there was a whole article where like he's like the amount of money spent on the show, and like he's like, well, you can film at my ranch, and then you got to use my horses, and I'm gonna bill the production company for the use of my horse. Like, and it was just like they were
Who's he
pointing out like
paid?
how
Jerry
much.
Jones or something.
Yeah, it's like all this money that he's making from the show because he's basically forcing the direction of the show to film at locations he either owns or operates. And
Well, he owns what the 4-6s or whatever.
Yeah, and a
That's
bunch
the
of other
biggest cattle producing place in the United States. So he is a super rich, mega rich.
I
guy,
felt like
so-
one of the last episodes, it was all focused on how cool he is. Like, oh, look at me, look how cool I am, look at all the ladies I have. Like, really, bro? Like, you had to make a whole episode just to talk about how cool you are? Come on, man.
Yeah, he seems like something. But
So I'm looking forward to ending this and being done.
yeah.
So should be
we're
over
gonna move
tonight.
on. Unfortunately, it's another one of his shows, but Tulsa King is really good.
Yeah.
My father-in-law asked me to turn on Paramount Plus just for that, so we can watch the second season of Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone. So I do got to pull that one out. And then there's Landman, I think, is another
Yeah.
Sheridan, whatever
And
his
then,
name is.
Mayor of Kingstown is another one of his, I think.
Yeah, Landman supposedly isn't doing well, and they're actually thinking about canceling it, from what I heard.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're looking at canceling that.
Where do all of you find the time to watch all this stuff?
It's multiple monitors, so I'm working.
Oh, you're
on
watching 3
the
shows
show.
at once? Yeah.
Oh my god!
We do it at night before bed. We watch a couple shows. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, I'm just. Everything you guys have been talking about is like, nope,
not that
haven't
one.
seen it, haven't seen it, nope, never heard of
And,
that.
and you're the one here that's like not working right now.
Yeah, right.
because I'm doing other
But
shit.
if it was called Death Cop or something, you'd be all on it. Yeah.
Well, like if it's a 2-hour movie.
Well, no, it had to be part 2, the holiday
yeah.
edition.
Yeah.
The Deathier Cop.
I'm too busy. I'm too busy selling off all of my possessions. I actually spend about 8 hours a day selling things off.
Yeah.
So
Hey, don't tell me you don't work. You work, bro.
Yeah,
You work.
Yeah, I mean it's good money, so I'm just gonna keep doing it. Why get a job?
Yeah. That's a good living. Yeah.
All right, folks. So that's going to get us to end another great episode of the Beans and Dice podcast. It's been fun. Thank you, everyone, for showing up.
Full
This
house,
is
6
probably
of us.
the
Woo!
biggest group we've had, I think, outside of the spicy ramen episode.
Oh yeah, spicy ramen.
This is probably the largest group of people we've had together at one time. So
It worked out.
Just one quick shout out to Chris. I agree with you. Crypto to the Dog was one of many highlights in that trailer. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a surprise. Yeah.
Oh, he says the director of the new Superman movie is
James
the director
Gunn.
of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah.
Which I love the way
James
those
Gunn
were
is in
filmed.
charge of the whole DCEU now.
yeah,
Universe.
Oh.
So he's a new Kevin. He's Kevin Feige for Marvel. He's
DC.
doing that for DC now.
yeah.
Maybe you can turn it around then.
Hopefully,
But then Chris says trekking through history is greater than other trekking games.
Yes.
I think Trekking Through History is the better stuff. The Trekking game.
Mine is still in Shrink. I've only played it once with you. I got to give it another shot.
What? You have a game in Shrink here? Where?
No.
On that note, I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
Daniel Bourdain.
Wayne. Oh.
I'm Emmy.
And
I'm not Wayne. I'm Daniel Bourdain.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Holy. Shut that cat up.
That was loud.
That was